Chapter 148. As the black fog gushed out, the pig demon's aura weakened significantly. As for Wang Zhong, due to his level 1 spiritual root, he also saw the black fog. The black fog was a strand of the pig demon's soul. If a person lost a strand of their soul, they would be fine. However, if the strand of their soul were to dissipate, the person would either become mentally retarded or fall into a coma. It was the same for animals. Now that the pig demon had separated a strand of its soul, it was obvious that it was for Wang Zhong to imprison. In other words, its Achilles heel was in Wang Zhong's hands, hoping that Wang Zhong would not deal with it. Very good. When Wang Zhong saw the soul, he walked over and grabbed the pig demon's soul. He took out a jade bottle and said softly, "Go in." Okay. Soon, the huge soul entered the bottle. Wang Zhong stuffed it with a wooden cork and drew a talisman on the bottle, completely sealing the soul. "Lord Hu, you have already captured my soul. Please spare my life." The pig demon showed a fawning expression. "You are too ashamed to see anyone like this. Return to your human form." Okay. The huge pig demon nodded gently. Then, its body gradually shrank and returned to its previous appearance of a woman. "From now on, you will be called Aunt Zhu. You will be a servant serving me, Zhao Xiaodong. Do you understand?" Wang Zhong said as he placed the bottle in his chest. "Yes, Lord." Aunt Zhu's face was bitter. She secretly cursed the scholar for not knowing what was good for him. How did he attract such a big Buddha? Now, she was reduced to being someone's livestock. She had to work like a cow or a horse. Her miserable days were here again. "Tell me more about the Gaojia village," Wang Zhong said. Then, Aunt Zhu began to talk. It turned out that the pig demon was originally a pig raised by the Gao village. At that time, there were many experts in the Gao village. However, with the disappearance of the Gao village's leader, the Gao family's strength decreased. However, they were still able to survive. However, after that, the Gaojia village was suddenly besieged by experts. The Gaojia village suffered heavy casualties, and all of their belongings were confiscated. So that's how it is. Do you know why your house was raided? Wang Zhong asked. At that time, I was just an ordinary pig. I didn't know anything. However, I vaguely remember that the people of the Gao family were shouting something like, "Master, please spare my life. Grandmaster, spare my life." Could it be those grandmasters? Wang Zhong and Lu Hua looked at each other. Lu Hua was also shocked. In Lu Hua's mind, although the master was cold and aloof, he was still a protector of the people. He didn't expect that the master had actually done such a thing. All of a sudden, Lu Hua's impression of those grandmasters became worse. I don't know. After that, there was no one in the Gaojia village anymore. We wandered around like a bunch of pigs. I accidentally found a medicinal pill in one of the bedrooms. After that, I gained a bit of cultivation. Your opportunity came at the right time. But it's a pity you didn't use it on the right path. Wang Zhong looked at the 18 coffins at the door and said, "Then what are those coffins for? Are they the corpses of the Gao family?" No, the corpses in those coffins are actually other evil creatures. Those people seemed to know that the ancestors of the Gao family were cultivators. They were worried that the people who died here would turn into ghosts. So they set up the 18 coffin formation to suppress the evil creatures here. That's why no matter how many people died here, there hasn't been any problems. 18 coffin formation. Wang Zhong's eyes moved slightly, although he didn't know what the coffin formation was. From the function of this formation, it was obviously an extremely evil method. Then, Wang Zhong looked around and found that most of the things here had been taken away. To his surprise, he found many evil creatures in the room one after another. Looking at these evil creatures, Wang Zhong said, "The evil creatures at the Black Cliff, were you the one who did it?" The pig demon frowned and said, "I did it? What did I do?" Many people fell to their deaths at the Black Cliff. Later, I found that there were many souls hanging on the cliff. Didn't you do it to kill people? Many of the cries we heard when we came in were from the people who had died there. Are you still not admitting to it? Wang Zhong stared at the pig demon unhappily and calmly said, "I don't like people lying to me. I'm innocent. Master, if I really did it, I'll admit it. Anyway, I've completely surrendered to you. There's no need to lie to you." If you still don't admit it, then tell me, where did the souls under the cliff in the room come from? They came here by themselves. I have the 18 coffin formation here. It's a place where Inchi gathers, so the souls nearby can't help but come here. The pig demon quickly explained. You really didn't do it? Wang Zhong frowned. He believed it a little. After all, the pig demon's soul was imprisoned by him. There was no need for him to lie to him. I really didn't do it. Master, I didn't go out to hunt. Some people came here by themselves, so I caught them. The pig demon said. Since you didn't do it, then it seems like someone else did it. Wang Zhong's eyes flashed with a serious look. The person who did such a thing was a little too vicious. Then tell me, if it wasn't you, who could it be? Wang Zhong asked. I really don't know. But since it wasn't to eat the flesh of those people, and it wasn't for the souls, I'm afraid there's only one purpose. Tell me, don't let those people go down the mountain. Just as he was speaking, a middle-aged woman walked over slowly with a girl in tow. Mother, why is father gone? The girl had 2 pigtails, and was wearing a flowery dress. She looked at the woman beside her curiously. She probably didn't know that she was no longer in this world. Your father, he's not sensible. The woman opened her mouth, but in the end, she didn't say that Liang killed them in order to survive. Boo-hoo, why do we stay here every day? It's so boring. We can leave soon. The woman looked at Wang Zhong and smiled. She bowed slightly. Thank you, master. Wang Zhong nodded slightly. Now that the pig demon was gone, the evil thing here could leave at any time. But after a long time, the girl would find out that she and her mother were already dead. They were killed by her father, and their bodies were. Are they the wife and daughter of the scholar? Wang Zhong asked. Yes. When they passed by, the scholar volunteered to do something for me in order to survive. At that time, there were fewer and fewer people here, so I decided to take care of him. The pig demon looked at Wang Zhong and said honestly, You've done a lot of good things. Wang Zhong snorted. The pig demon was so scared that it didn't dare to move. Boom! At this time, Lu Hu lit a fire and walked over with a torch. Zhao Xiaodong, let's stay here for the night. We'll leave tomorrow. Okay. Then, the two found some firewood in the house and started a fire. Of course, the pig demon was responsible for starting the fire. Zhao Xiaodong, what do you think those masters are thinking? At night, Lu Hu looked at the fire in front of her and couldn't help but ask. Evil things are wreaking havoc outside, but these masters don't care. They just let the poor people outside die, and they only care about enjoying themselves. They even sent people to attack this Gao village. Why? Do you think those masters are good people? Wang Zhong asked. Aren't those masters good people? They can't pretend to be good people. Those masters seem to be doing things for the people. But aren't they doing things for themselves? Wang Zhong shook his head and looked at the pig demon. You said that the Gao village declined because of the disappearance of the chief. Is the chief very strong? The pig demon stopped what he was doing and quickly replied, Yes. At that time, I was just born in the pigsty. I heard from my parents that the chief of the Gao village was missing. Your parents? So you pigs can talk to each other. Wang Zhong was surprised. Every living thing can talk to each other. The pig demon thought for a moment and said, I heard that the chief of the Gao village was very powerful. Was he killed by those masters? Wang Zhong was curious. No, because when they were fighting, I heard with my own ears that those masters were asking the Gao village about the secret to becoming an immortal. The secret to becoming an immortal? At this moment, Wang Zhong was greatly moved. No wonder those masters spent so much effort to destroy the Gao village. It was to get these secrets. At this moment, Wang Zhong realized that the world he lived in was not just a simple world of demons and ghosts, but also the secret to becoming an immortal. Thinking about it, those masters were probably trying to become an immortal. The night passed very quickly. Early the next morning, Wang Zhong set fire to this place and burned it to the ground. Then he left the place. Wang Zhong had gained quite a lot from this trip to the Gaojia village. Not only did he get a helping hand, but he also had an idea about the situation in the Gao village. He was not sure if those masters in Snow City had obtained the secret of the Gao village. But thinking about it, After so many years, those masters did not spread any news about becoming immortals, so they probably did not find the secret. If only I knew. Wang Zhong sighed. Xiaodong, once we get out of this forest, we will reach my hometown, the Lu village. Lu Hua wiped the sweat from his forehead and said happily, Master, be careful. There is a monster in the Lu village, the pig demon said. Chapter 149. It looks like you're quite familiar with the situation here. Wang Zhong asked. The pig demon's fat body carried a huge pile of luggage. It looked like an old woman rushing on a journey. It was a rather comical sight. Master, of course I'm very familiar with the situation here. I've even met the spirit monster of Lu family village once. It was snowing heavily, and there was nothing to eat on the mountain. So I went near Lu family village and encountered the spirit monster. It wanted to catch me and eat roasted pork. We ended up in a draw, and I haven't been there since. Is it strong? Wang Zhong asked. That was 5 years ago. It's quite strong. Thankfully, I ran fast enough. Otherwise, I would have been roasted by it. Auntie Zhu shook her head as she spoke. Then she grinned. Of course, that pig demon is very powerful to me, but it's nothing to you, Master. Having seen Wang Zhong's means, the pig demon was very confident. Unknowingly, the two of them walked until afternoon. Looking at the mountain ahead, Wang Zhong asked, Lu Hua, how much longer will it take? We're almost there. There should be an orchard ahead. We'll definitely be there before dark. Lu Hua could not help but quicken her pace. After a while an orchard appeared. However, Lu Hua did not look happy when she saw the orchard. Instead she frowned. What's going on? Lu Hua rushed over. The orchard in front of her was filled with small fruits of various sizes that had long ripened. Wang Zhong had never seen such fruits before. He thought to himself that they were probably local specialties. Miss Lu, these fruits are growing very well. Why are you in such a hurry? Auntie Zhu asked curiously. Lu Hua said, You don't understand. This forest was planted by my Lu family village for generations. When it's harvest season, they will always bring the fruits home. But now the fruits here have long ripened. Many of them have fallen to the ground, and no one has come to collect them. Wang Zhong instantly understood. From the looks of it, there are only two possibilities. Either there's no one in Lu family village, or no one dares to come here because of the danger. Wasn't there no problem with this place in the past? It seems that the spiritual monster's range is getting bigger and bigger, Lu Hua said in a low voice. Auntie Zhu, do you know what transformed into that spiritual monster? Wang Zhong asked. I only fought with it from afar, so I didn't see it transform. So even you don't know what kind of creature it is? Yeah, but I don't think it's that strong. Oh right, when we were fighting that person suddenly farted. It was very, very smelly. Could it be a weasel? Wang Zhong's expression was strange. Generally speaking, weasels wouldn't harm people. But why did this spirit harm so many people? Wang Zhong was puzzled. Lu Hua was anxious to see her fellow villagers, so she walked very quickly. Soon, the originally uphill road gradually began to descend. At this moment the sun was slowly setting. The mountain village wasn't big. Wang Zhong had lived in the mountain village before, but the scale was obviously much smaller. When they arrived at the village entrance, the sky wasn't dark yet, but the doors of the households were already closed. Only a tiny ray of light was left, letting people know that there were people in the house. Why are they sleeping so early? Lu Hua hadn't returned for many years, so she was particularly curious about the villagers' current behavior. Creak! At this moment, the window of the third house opened slightly. An old woman stretched her head out and looked at Lu Hua, Wang Zhong, and the others. You woman! How dare you open the window at this time? Do you want to die? A man's scolding came from inside the house. No, I think the person who came looks familiar. Husband, look, isn't this girl Xiaohua's girl? What nonsense are you talking about? Didn't you say Xiaohua was dead? The man scolded. But she really looks like her. Lu Hua noticed the window and shouted. Auntie Qin, it's me, Xiaohua. Husband, it's really Xiaohua. The woman said in pleasant surprise as she hurriedly shouted. Xiaohua, it's getting dark. Quickly go home. Auntie Qin, what's wrong? Hey, do as I say. If not, the gremlins will come out and eat people. I got it. I'll head home first. She had just returned and didn't know anything, so Lu Hua didn't ask further. Along the way, the doors of the houses along the way were all tightly shut. Finally, Lu Hua followed a small path and arrived in front of a dilapidated yard. Upon seeing the house, Lu Hua's eyes turned moist. Mother! Little one, little one. The house was very small, with only 2 rooms. In the middle was the dining area. Many of the tiles on the roof were damaged. They would likely leak when it rained. The vegetable patch in the yard wasn't bad, but it was mostly eaten. The house's door was dilapidated, and the wooden planks were broken. It was hard to imagine how it would leak when the wind blew. Auntie Zhu, guard the door, instructed Wang Zhong. All right, got it. Auntie Zhu nodded. Mother. Lu Hua knocked on the door a few times. Creak. The door opened, and a boy who resembled Lu Hua, but was only in his teens, opened the door. Upon seeing Lu Hua, the boy's expression trembled. Sis, mother, it's really sis. Sis isn't dead. The boy immediately pounced into Lu Hua's embrace in agitation. Boo-hoo, we all thought you were dead. Boo-hoo. Little one, what happened? Lu Hua and the boy entered the house. At that moment, a woman groped her way out. Little Hua. The woman touched the surrounding walls as she walked out while trembling. The woman looked very old. Her eyes seemed to be blind, so she walked very slowly. There were some dim oil lamps in the house. Upon seeing the woman's state, Lu Hua burst into tears. Mother, your eyes. What happened to your eyes? Mother has been missing you. She cries every day until she went blind. The boy complained as he wiped his tears. Little Hua, it's really little Hua. He caressed Lu Hua's face. Yes, it's my daughter. My daughter, they all said you were dead. Thank the heavens that you are fine. But your eyes. I'm already a bag of old bones. So what if I'm blind? I don't have many years left to live. Although the woman couldn't see, she could sense that there was another person in the house. She cocked her head and said, Little Hua, there's another person in the house. Who is it? It's a friend of mine from the guide team. We came here to deal with the spiritual monster, said Lu Hua. It's too dangerous. Little Hua, listen to my advice. Leave this place. There's no way to live here. Mother, what happened here? I remember that when I left, although the spiritual monster was causing trouble, it was only on the mountain. Why did it become like this? Asked Lu Hua, perplexed. Chapter 150. Sis, you have been away from home for so many years. I'm afraid you don't know that the village is haunted other than the spiritual monster. As Lu Wen spoke, he hurriedly closed the door and windows. This happened in the past year. It's dark and we can't go out. Why would there be ghosts for no reason? Asked Lu Hua. I'm not sure. Many people have died. All of them had their blood sucked dry. Lu Wen's eyes were filled with fear when he spoke of this. Many people in the village died when they went out at night. Little Hua, the village sent many people to find you. Why couldn't they find you? Those people never returned, asked Lu Hua's mother. They all died along the way. Lu Hua sighed before recounting the corpse she saw at the Black Cliff. That means Auntie and the rest are all dead. But that's too strange. Lu Wen shook his head as though he was recalling something. Little Wen, what do you mean by too strange? Asked Lu Hua. Since the people who went to find you died along the way, how did the village chief know that you were dead? Are you saying that the village chief said I was dead? Asked Lu Hua. Yes, elder sister. You are the only one in our village who went out to learn how to deal with evil creatures. The villagers have high hopes for you. Originally, although there were spirits on the mountain, we could still barely survive. However, after the ghosts appeared, many people in the village died. We had no choice but to send people down the mountain to look for you in Snow City. Who would have thought that those people would not come back? After that, the village chief went out personally. He told us that you were dead and that's why he didn't return. I clearly didn't see anyone. Why would the village chief say that? Asked Lu Hua coldly. Wang Zhong's heart stirred when he heard that. He suddenly recalled the corpse at the cliff. The pig demon had said that the trap at the cliff wasn't its doing. The culprit's goal was to prevent others from leaving the mountain. From the looks of it, There's something strange about the village chief. However, Wang Zhong didn't voice his guess. Lu Hua's family were all ordinary people. It wouldn't be good for them to know too much. Sis, we don't know either. The village chief and the master told us not to go out when it's dark. That's the only way no one will die in the house, said Lu Wen. All right, I'll have a good talk with the village chief tomorrow. Lu Hua had been in the guide team for many years. His temper was no longer as tactful as before. Instead, he had become extremely domineering. After he finished speaking, he said to Wang Zhong in embarrassment, Xiaodong, my family's conditions are not very good. I'm sorry to trouble you today. Corporal Lu, you're treating me like an outsider. Wang Zhong waved his hand. Little one, go prepare some food. The blind old woman said, there's no need for that. We brought some dry food with us when we came over. Wang Zhong took out a few pancakes and drumsticks. Just heat them up. Soon after, the family began to eat. Lu Hua excitedly took out 1,000 silver taels and said, Mother, I made a great contribution in Snow City. This is a reward from the great master. Sis, you're amazing. Sai Xiaohua, it must have been hard for you there. You're a girl, but you have to join the guide team. The old woman sighed. I'm fine. The next morning, the news of Lu Hua's return spread throughout the village. Many people in the village ran over to see Lu Hua. Xiaohua, we all thought you were dead. It's great that you're back. Ho ho, my son is dead. Now the whole village doesn't dare to go out at night. You've learned how to deal with evil creatures outside. You must help us. Fellow villagers, please rest assured. Since I, Lu Hua, am here, I will definitely help everyone to slay evil. Lu Hua said solemnly. Wang Zhong, who was standing behind her, rolled his eyes. Good fellow. He hadn't even seen the evil creature, and Lu Hua had already said that. This girl's sense of justice was bursting. Xiaohua, these two are. An old man pointed at Wang Zhong, and Aunt Zhu behind her. This is a member of the guide team in Snow City, Zhao Xiaodong. He came to help this time. This is Aunt Zhu, his servant. Lu Hua introduced. Oh, he's your subordinate, right? A boy asked. After all, from their point of view, Lu Hua was now a corporal, and this 13-year-old boy was too young. He must be a small soldier. Since he was a small soldier, he must be Lu Hua's subordinate. Lu Hua thought that Zhao Xiaodong's strength was much stronger than hers. So just as she was about to explain for Wang Zhong, she didn't expect Wang Zhong to nod and say, Yes, I'm Corporal Lu's subordinate. This time, I was ordered to help Corporal Lu. When Lu Hua heard this, she looked at Wang Zhong strangely. Wang Zhong winked at her. Lu Hua understood. She understood that Zhao Xiaodong didn't want to reveal too much of his strength. Hearing that Wang Zhong was a subordinate, the group of people didn't pay much attention to Wang Zhong. Then they all surrounded Lu Hua. Little Hua, quickly go to the village chief and tell him what to do now. That's right. Although the village chief said not to go out at night, there are still deaths in the village from time to time. An old man leaned on his walking stick and lamented with a sigh. It's a sin, a sin. Did the village chief tell you not to go out at night? Wang Zhong asked. That's right. The village chief and the master said so. An old woman replied. Didn't they deal with ghosts at night? Lu Hua frowned. In the past, she respected the masters, but after hearing what Wang Zhong said, she began to have doubts about them. They dealt with them, but it seems that they couldn't. That's right. Now that the guides are all dead, evil creatures often appear in the village. Lu Hua, go to the village chief and tell him. There's no need. I'm already here. At that moment, a loud voice sounded. An old man with a walking stick was supported by others as he walked over. Village chief. The village chief is here. The villagers greeted him one by one. The village chief was definitely in his 80s or 90s. He looked very old. One had to know that there were not many people who could live that long in this era. Little Hua, I didn't expect you to still be alive. The old village chief stroked his beard and nodded in satisfaction. But didn't I send someone to Snow City? He said that he couldn't find you and suspects that you're dead. I'm not sure about that. No one looked for me at all, Lu Hua said. That little brat is probably talking nonsense to me. Forget it, let's not talk about him. Little Hua, it's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. What skills did you learn in Snow City? Some methods to deal with evil creatures. Good, that's great. The old village chief smiled in relief. I'll leave the safety of the village to you. Village chief, what about that master? Can't he deal with these evil creatures? Lu Hua asked again. All along, the masters had not done much. But this time, the evil creatures had run into the village, and the master had not done anything. That was somewhat unreasonable. One had to know that the masters did not do any work. They were usually supported by all the villagers. Now that the village was in trouble, the master only accepted the support, but did not come out to kill the evil creatures. What was the use of the master? Sigh, little Hua. Of course the master did make a move. Unfortunately, the evil creatures were too strong. He was no match for them. The village chief sighed. Is that so? Come with me to see Master Jiang. He'll tell you about the evil creatures in the village. After all, he's the only one who saw the evil creatures and is still alive. Chapter 151. The old village chief was walking in front. He was indeed very old, so his walking speed was very slow. This young man, is he your subordinate? The old village chief glanced at Wang Zhong. I am Corporal Lu's subordinate, Zhao Xiaodong. Because my spirit root was tested to be level 2. I was sent to lead the team early on. Wang Zhong said helplessly. The old village chief looked at Wang Zhong with pity. Spirit root is only level 2. Finally, they arrived at the old village chief's house. The house here was relatively large. A man in white was sitting in the house. The old village chief said, Grandmaster Jiang, Lu Hua is here. Grandmaster Jiang's dressing was similar to the two grandmasters from Snow City. They were both dressed like immortals. However, this Grandmaster Jiang's skin was a bit dark. He raised his head and glanced at Lu Hua. He nodded and said, You came very well. Let me tell you about the evil creature in the village. This evil creature has intermittently killed many people. I heard from the village chief that you dealt with it? Lu Hua asked. Yes, but unfortunately, my skills are not as good as others. Wang Zhong kept staring at Grandmaster Jiang. He could see that the strength of the Grandmaster here was not as good as Master Wu and Master White. What was that evil creature like? Lu Hua asked again. The one in white was very powerful. I wanted to use charms to deal with it, but it was useless. In the end, I was even injured by the Yin poison. Even now there is still poison in my body. Grandmaster Jiang covered his chest and said with an ugly expression, Lu Hua, this time you came back from Snow City. You should have brought treasures from there, right? The treasures of those big cities are much better than our lousy village. The treasures must be very powerful, right? The old village chief asked. Yes, I brought some. Great. Then patrol at night and try to deal with the evil creature in the village. Grandmaster Jiang stood up. I will send 2 of my disciples to assist you. Lu Hua thought for a moment and cupped his hands. Thank you, Grandmaster Jiang. While the people in the house were chatting, Wang Zhong used the excuse of going to the toilet and walked out. From the information he obtained, this Grandmaster and the village chief should be hiding something. Since they were not willing to say, then he would investigate it himself. Wang Zhong planned to investigate from the village chief's house. His house was very big, and it was next to Grandmaster Zhang's residence. The relationship between the two families was pretty good. At this moment, the 2 women were washing clothes. The rest of the village is creepy, but the village elder's house is the only place that looks good. Wang Zhong pondered and inadvertently glanced at the windows in the room. There was no problem. When he returned, Lu Hua had already left. Grandmaster Jiang, village chief, I will prepare well tonight. Goodbye. Lu Hua and Wang Zhong walked out. Xiaodong, what do you think of the master and the village chief? Nothing much. They're all very weak, Wang Zhong said. Is that so? They all watched me grow up. At that time, I always treated them as respected elders. But after hearing what you said, thinking about it carefully, it seems that they really are hiding something. Don't worry, take your time to investigate. After returning, Lu Hua had nothing to do anyway, so she began to repair the tiles in the house. She had no choice. The house was too shabby. Wang Zhong and Lu Wenchao stayed in the shabby room at night. Lu Hua felt embarrassed. Wang Zhong had nothing to do, so he wandered around. The folk customs in the village were pretty good. Many people saw Wang Zhong and greeted him in a friendly manner. The day passed quickly. At night, Wang Zhong, Lu Hua, and the two disciples sent by Grandmaster Jiang began to patrol the night. The two disciples were in their 20s. One was called Jiang Shuyuan, and the other was called Jiang Wenchao. Their spiritual roots were both grade 6 or 7. From their names, Wang Zhong guessed that they were Grandmaster Jiang's relatives. You all came from big cities, so you should have very powerful talismans. Jiang Shuyuan took out his talisman. Wang Zhong looked at it. It was a flame talisman. Unfortunately, this flame talisman was much smaller than the one in Snow City. Willie's talisman was probably not much bigger. I do have talismans, Wang Zhong replied. That's great. Can you show it to us? To be honest, although the flame talismans in our hands are very precious, we always felt that they were too weak. So in several battles, they were not very effective. Because of this, many of our brothers died, Jiang Shuyuan said. Wang Zhong took out a few exterminating talismans. The two people's eyes lit up. They felt as if they had seen something amazing. That's great. With Brother Zhao's talismans and Lu Hua's strength, we will definitely be able to solve the ghost problem in the village, Jiang Shuyuan said excitedly. How do we start patrolling next? Wang Zhong asked. We patrol from the east to the west. Previously, we were just walking around and encountered something strange. When Jiang Shuyuan mentioned that incident, his face had a trace of seriousness. Tell me what strange thing. A woman was crying. After we went over, the woman turned around and her whole face was rotten. At that time, we realized that it was an evil creature and immediately attacked. But we were not her match. Then you're still alive, said Wang Zhong. I'm also very lucky. So if we encounter a woman crying today, we will immediately throw the talismans, Jiang Shuyuan said. Why isn't Sister Lu Hua here yet? Jiang Wenchao looked at the location of Lu Hua's house and asked curiously. She has been repairing the house all day. She is very tired, so I didn't let her come. Wang Zhong was worried that the mastermind knew that Lu Hua was difficult to deal with. If the mastermind did not appear to deal with Lu Hua's family, it would be troublesome. Therefore, he had Lu Hua stay at home. Is that so? Then it's just the few of us. Jiang Wenchao was worried. It's fine. I have talismans. I can deal with ordinary malicious ghosts. With Wang Zhong's guarantee, these people felt relieved. All right then. Let's go. There were not many households in the village, only a few hundred. Therefore, the patrol area was not large. The only troublesome thing was that the muddy road was rugged. It was not convenient to walk in the dark. Along the way, Jiang Wenchao and Jiang Shuyuan asked Wang Zhong about Snow City. It was obvious that these two young people still yearned for a big city like Snow City. Sigh. It's a pity that I have already become Master Jiang's disciple. I can only stay here, Jiang Shuyuan said helplessly. Master Jiang doesn't usually come out. What does he do with the village chief? Wang Zhong asked. He has been practicing. By the way, he and the village chief seem to be practicing the same technique, Jiang Shuyuan said. The village chief is almost 90 years old. He is still practicing? Of course. The village chief is my grandfather. I heard from my dad that the village chief has lived for so long because he practiced magic. Wang Zhong smiled. From the way the two of them were chatting, they probably had nothing to do with the village chief. They were purely working for the village chief and Master Jiang. Whoa! As they were chatting, a cry was heard. Hey, it's coming. It's coming. Jiang Shuyuan became nervous. Wang Zhong could see things that others could not. In fact, he had already seen that he was surrounded by evil creatures. However, these evil creatures were ordinary evil creatures on the mountain. As long as a person had enough yang qi, it would not be a problem. These evil creatures did not have the intention to harm people. However, the place where the crying came from was a little different. On a tree not far away, a woman in white was hanging on the tree, staring at them. Her tongue was sticking out very, 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 very long. Chapter 152. What's this? It's this woman again. Jiang Shuyuan's eyes widened. Throw the talisman. Throw the talisman. Because they didn't have Wang Zhong's talent to see evil things directly. Although they could see the evil thing on the tree, they couldn't see the body of the evil thing. So they could only see that the woman on the tree was very beautiful. But with previous experience, Jiang Shuyuan still wanted to throw the talisman at once. But Wang Zhong stopped him and said, "This thing doesn't seem to have the intention to attack. Let's observe it first." As he spoke, Wang Zhong walked over to them. "Save me," the evil thing on the tree whispered, its long tongue flicking around. Unfortunately, this scene could only be seen by Wang Zhong alone. "Is it luring me over? This evil thing doesn't seem to have a high IQ." Wang Zhong shook his head slightly. Suddenly, the evil thing's tongue stabbed towards Wang Zhong. Because of the attack, Jiang Shuyuan and Jiang Shuyuan saw the tongue and were shocked. "Brother Zhao." As expected, these two people really cared about me and weren't in the same league as the village chief. Wang Zhong thought in his heart, and threw out the extermination talisman without hesitation. "Boundless heaven and earth, borrow the power of the universe." Sizzle. Ah! The female ghost didn't even have time to scream, and turned into ashes. "It's solved, haha. As expected of someone from Snow City so powerful." Jiang Wenchao said excitedly. Wang Zhong frowned. The evil thing that had disturbed the Lu family village for so long was so simple? The next day, the news came out, but everyone was a little skeptical. After all, this evil thing had killed many people. It was suddenly destroyed. Without really seeing it, everyone didn't dare to believe it. Next, they continued to patrol at night. Sure enough, no strange things happened at night. After 2 weeks, the entire Lu family village was unusually quiet. This time, everyone said that the evil thing was really solved. Our Lu family village finally doesn't have to hide at home every night. Thank you, Brother Zhao. Early this morning, the village chief brought people to Lu Hua's house. "Zhao Xiaodong, thank you for your contribution to our village." The village chief, Lu Ying, bowed and said with a smile, "That's what I should do." Wang Zhong expressed his indifference. "Now we need to deal with the spiritual monsters on the mountain. Lu Hua, what do you plan to do?" Lu Ying asked. "Let's rest for a few days first. When the time comes, I will go up the mountain with Xiaodong." "That's good." Lu Ying nodded with relief. "Xiaohua, we'll leave our village to you." After a few more words, Lu Ying left with his men. The villagers gradually dispersed, and the haunted event that had haunted the Lu family village for more than a year was finally over. However, Wang Zhong did not feel any joy. After they left, Lu Hua pulled Wang Zhong to the back of the house and asked softly, "Xiaodong, is what you said true? Although that evil being's soul was scattered by me, it was too weak. I'm afraid someone deliberately let me beat it. Let us think that we've dealt with the evil creature and the spirit monsters. When the time comes, we'll leave this place." "What a good plan." Wang Zhong smiled. "However, this also shows that the mastermind is afraid of us, so they set up such a scheme. Then, should we continue with their act?" Lu Hua felt that although Wang Zhong was young, he was resourceful and steady in his work. Therefore, she subconsciously listened to his opinion. There's no need to act. After all, if we enter the forest, it will be troublesome if we fall into a trap. Then prepare to. As they spoke, Auntie Zhu hurried in. "Auntie Zhu, how is it?" Wang Zhong asked. Auntie Zhu carried a vegetable basket in her hand. She really did look like a village woman. In fact, ever since Wang Zhong and Lu Hua returned, no one paid attention to Auntie Zhu. As for Wang Zhong, he secretly sent Auntie Zhu to investigate the village chief's vicinity. "I stayed at the village chief's place for a few days, and discovered something interesting. Just as master guessed, there's a weasel that runs around the area every day. Once it's daytime, the weasel will return from outside." "Very good. Tonight is the night to capture that weasel." Wang Zhong looked at Lu Hua, and explained his subsequent plan. At night, the starry sky was dotted with stars. Perhaps it was because the villagers were used to closing their doors early for more than a year. But tonight, most people still closed their doors early. Lu Hua's house had long been closed. However, before long, Wang Zhong and Lu Hua secretly left the house and headed for the village chief's residence. In the vegetable field, Auntie Zhu was sprawled on the ground. When she saw Wang Zhong and Lu Hu walk over, she hurriedly said, "They just turned off the lights." "Oh, are the village chief and his wife still living separately?" Wang Zhong asked. "Yes, it's very strange. I understand." Wang Zhong made a decision in his heart. Under Auntie Zhu's surveillance of the village chief's family, he learned a lot of useful information. For example, the village chief and his wife were living separately. Although the village chief was old, he liked meat, especially chicken. "That's strange. I knew that the village chief and his wife were very close when I was young. Why are they living separately now?" Lu Hu frowned. In the past, the village chief was highly respected. Now, the village chief doesn't even bother with village matters. That's because the village chief is no longer himself. Wang Zhong sighed. His understanding of the world was still too shallow. Therefore, he planned on cutting the Gordian knot and resolving the matter as soon as possible. "Auntie Zhu, go over now." Wang Zhong turned his head and said, "Got it, master." Auntie Zhu instantly turned into a fat pig. She turned her head and chuckled. "Master, if I can't beat him, you have to save me." "Don't worry." Wang Zhong waved his hand impatiently. The pig demon leaped and charged out. Roar! The pig demon targeted the village chief's residence and charged in. "Ah! Monster! Monster!" The village chief's voice immediately came from inside. What was surprising was that the village chief, who used to walk with a cane, was now walking with incomparable vigor. He jumped out of the window and ran towards Grandmaster Jiang's residence on all fours. Where did this demon come from? Grandmaster Jiang rushed out of the room and glanced at Lu Ying. Lu Ying ran to Grandmaster Jiang's side and panted. "A pig, a fat pig. It's the pig from Gaojia village. Hee, I was wondering how you recognized me. It's the weasel I fought with before." The pig demon rubbed its trotters on the ground and grinned. "You're doing pretty well. You actually became the village chief here. Teach me, how do you play?" "What's wrong?" "Ah, what a big pig. Master, why did you suddenly run so fast?" Not long after, the people from Lu Ying's family and Grandmaster Zhang's family ran out. When they saw the scene in front of them, all of them were in disbelief. Grandmaster Jiang frowned and shouted, "Can't you see that there's a monster here? Hurry up and enter the house." "There's no need to enter the house. This village chief is a murderous monster. See if I don't beat him up." The pig demon roared and pounced towards Lu Ying. Lu Ying's movements were incomparably agile. This scene shocked everyone. What was even more shocking was that when Lu Ying ran, he was actually on all fours. "You monster, see if I don't destroy you." Grandmaster Jiang snorted and took out a long sword. Lin Bing Doja break. The tip of the sword pointed straight at the pig demon. However, the pig demon did not dodge. Instead, it charged straight at Lu Ying. Bang! Lu Ying was sent flying. Following that, a furry tail was knocked out. "Ah! Master! Master has a tail!" Suddenly, Lu Ying's family realized that something was wrong. Chapter 153. In the grass not far away, Wang Zhong's eyes lit up when he saw Lu Ying's furry mouth. "Squad leader Lu, I was right. Your village chief is a weasel demon." "You guessed it long ago." "Yes, Lu Ying is already 90 years old. Not many people have such a long lifespan. The reason why he could live for so long was because I guessed that he might have cultivated some sorcery. However, under Auntie Zhu's surveillance, I realized that Lu Ying is very strange. He is so old, but he lives alone and likes to eat chicken." According to Auntie Zhu, she also smelled a stench on Lu Ying's body. It's just that the stench is not obvious, and we humans can't smell it. Lu Hong glanced at Wang Zhong's side profile in surprise. She felt that this Zhao Xiaodong was quite smart. She asked, "Should we make our move now?" "Yes, it's about time. However, there are too few villagers now. We need more." In front of the village chief's house, the pig demon was dodging Grandmaster Zhang's attacks while attacking Lu Ying. Although Lu Ying was also a demon, he was obviously not as strong as the pig demon. After being attacked a few times, Lu Ying quickly gave himself away. A layer of wrinkled skin began to fall off, and fur began to grow on the surface of his body. Soon, he became a weasel half the height of a human. He bared his teeth at the pig demon and said, "You damn pig! I have no enmity with you. Why are you looking for trouble with me? I'm hitting you. The pig demon scolded. At that moment, Grandmaster Zhang's eyes flashed with worry. The pig demon's appearance was too strange. It was also looking for trouble with the weasel. It was obvious that it came with ill intentions. He had to deal with it as soon as possible. Thinking of this, Grandmaster Jiang took out the explosive talisman. Although he was also a master, he was still a master from a small mountain village. In terms of wealth and strength, he could not compare to those masters from Snow City. Therefore, the explosive talisman was a rare item for him. You should be proud that I can use this thing to deal with you. Just as Grandmaster Jiang was about to make his move, Wang Zhong and Lu Hua attacked together. Wow, Grandmaster Jiang! You actually turned the village chief into a weasel and raised demons here. Wang Zhong scolded as soon as he came out, confirming the fact that Grandmaster Jiang was raising demons. Another expert is here. I can't win. Old pig will go. The pig demon knew when to stop. He turned around and ran. After all, if it didn't run, it would be suspected of being in cahoots with Wang Zhong. The pig demon ran into the depths of the forest and heaved a sigh of relief. Then, its body gradually shrank and turned back into Auntie Zhu's appearance. It ran towards the village. When the weasel saw that Auntie Zhu had run away, he knew that it wasn't a good idea to stay here any longer. Thus, he turned his head and ran into the forest. But how could Wang Zhong let it leave? He and Lu Hua blocked the weasel from the front and back. Grandmaster Jiang, as a grandmaster, it's fine if you don't help the villagers slay demons and devils, but you actually killed the village chief and let the demon you raised pretend to be the village chief. Wang Zhong pointed at Grandmaster Jiang and shouted sternly. At this moment, a group of villagers who had heard the commotion began to rush over one after another. The village chief is a demon. It's a monster raised by Grandmaster Jiang. He lied to us so miserably. Kill him, kill the monster. 1 spread to 10, 10 spread to 100. The villagers were all filled with righteous indignation and shouted angrily. Villagers, please don't worry. Sergeant Lu and I were specially sent by the city lord of Snow City to help you. This time, we will definitely help you slay demons and devils. Wang Zhong shouted loudly. At this moment, he had to raise the banner of righteousness to gain the support of the villagers. The weasel was hiding beside Grandmaster Jiang and trembling. It spoke in human language. Master, what should we do? A bunch of idiots. I wanted to raise you for a few more years. Since you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for being ruthless. Grandmaster Jiang shook the sword in his hand and charged towards Lu Hua. In his opinion as a sergeant, Lu Hua should be powerful. This weasel was also smart. It charged towards Wang Zhong. At the same time, a fishy smell spread out from the weasel's body. It was actually farting. Previously, the pig demon said that the weasel's fart was not only smelly, but it could also be poisoned after smelling it. Immediately, Wang Zhong sealed his nose and stabbed the weasel with his sword. Shadowless sword technique. Using the sword technique, countless sword shadows swept over. In an instant, the weasel was cut into several pieces. The speed was so fast that it made people speechless. The demon is dead. Good. Another one. Seeing this, the villagers clapped their hands. Looking at the weasel's corpse, Wang Zhong threw a flame talisman at it. There was no other way. This thing was too smelly. He originally wanted to keep the weasel to interrogate some things, but after thinking about it, it was inconvenient to keep such a smelly thing by his side. What's going on? Feeling that the weasel was killed in one strike, Grandmaster Zhang's eyes were filled with shock. Lu Hua took the opportunity to throw 2 talismans. However, these talismans had no effect on Grandmaster Jiang, and he easily dodged them. Good. Grandmaster Jiang took a few steps back and looked coldly at Wang Zhong. I originally thought that Lu Hua's strength was strong, but it turns out that the strong person is you. Wang Zhong shrugged his shoulders as his energy circulated around his body. In order to prevent the villagers from going down the mountain to find Corporal Lu, you set up a trap on the cliff, causing dozens of villagers to fall to their deaths for no reason. In order to raise your demon, you casually killed villagers for your demon to eat. Grandmaster Jiang, what a great grandmaster. Grandmaster Jiang was not angry. He sneered. Lad, you are still too young. The things you see are too superficial. Is that so? In this world, those who achieve the Tao obtain the world. I stepped into the path of cultivation by chance. In order to achieve the Tao, it is normal for some people to die. Do you think that those grandmasters in other places are good? All right then, tell me what those grandmasters are like. Wang Zhong was not in a hurry to deal with Grandmaster Jiang. To him this was just a small fry. He needed to understand how these grandmasters operated behind the scenes. Unexpectedly, Grandmaster Jiang stopped talking and shook his head. You are not qualified to know this. He took out 2 talismans and threw them at Wang Zhong. At the same time, the place where Grandmaster Jiang originally lived exploded. In the next moment, black fog filled the sky and a series of ghostly wails and howls could be heard. The evil creatures have come out of the cage. Grandmaster Jiang laughed. I originally wanted to raise more evil creatures, but since you have destroyed it, there is no need to keep the people in this mountain village. The evil creatures in the village were indeed caused by you. Wang Zhong said. Those who achieve the Tao obtain the world. Those who cultivate the Tao obtain the world, every man for himself. We have no choice. As soon as Grandmaster Jiang's voice fell, the black fog above the sky turned into a giant face. The giant face opened its mouth and bit at Wang Zhong and Lu Hua. So this was his trump card. The giant face was indeed very strong, but it was formed from countless evil creatures. Its weakness was too obvious. As long as there were enough attacks, the countless evil creatures could be defeated one by one. Boom! The giant face swallowed Wang Zhong and Lu Hua. For a moment, the two were surrounded by countless evil creatures. Zhao Xiaodong, these evil creatures need to be defeated with talismans. Unfortunately, I don't have many of them. I will open a path for you. Quickly escape from here. Lu Hua barely held on under the siege of a group of evil creatures. Wang Zhong said indifferently, No hurry, I can deal with these evil creatures. Lu Hua was stunned. These evil creatures in front of her. Even a few explosive talismans would not be able to deal with them. How could Zhao Xiaodong deal with them? But the next moment she was dumbfounded. She saw Wang Zhong take out a stack of talismans. These talismans were made by him since he was young. Originally, he only used them for practice. Unknowingly, he had so many of them. He even had a lot in another box. Chapter 154. Zhao Xiaodong, you actually have so many talismans. Lu Hua was stunned. One had to know that every piece of talisman paper was the most precious existence in the guide team. Sometimes a single piece of talisman paper could save a life. Unfortunately, although this talisman paper was precious to them, none of them knew how to make it. They could only rely on the master to collect it every month. At this moment, seeing the talisman in Wang Zhong's hand, Lu Hua felt as if his worldview had been overturned. Yeah, I used to make them myself when I had nothing to do. As Wang Zhong spoke, he threw out the talisman paper as if it didn't cost him anything. For a moment, the black fog was filled with talismans. What a powerful evil creature. Lu Hua and that young Master Zhao are dead. Woo-woo, what should we do? The villagers cried and complained again. Grandmaster Jiang was pleased with himself. A bunch of reckless fools want to fight with me. Today, I will wash the Lu family village with blood. However, at this moment, he vaguely felt that something was not quite right within this evil creature formation. The originally thick black fog actually began to gradually disperse in the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint. What's going on? Grandmaster Jiang raised his head. In the next moment, several talisman papers shot out. No, it wasn't just a few sheets. It was a few piles. In that instant, Grandmaster Jiang was at a loss of what to do. Although he himself could also make talisman paper, the difference in quality was too great. At the same time, Wang Zhong appeared above his head. Slash! Wang Zhong bellowed as his strength swept towards Grandmaster Jiang. So strong! Grandmaster Jiang's eyes narrowed. It was already too late to dodge. In an instant his shoulder was cut open. You! Who the hell are you? You can't be this strong. Grandmaster Jiang's eyes were filled with shock. Suddenly he seemed to have thought of something. You! 13 years old. It's impossible for you to have a first-grade spirit root. Oh. Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows. How about level 1 spirit root? Grandmaster Jiang did not answer. Instead, he shook his head and muttered to himself, impossible. With the 2 grandmasters from Snow City here, how could such a situation occur? Wang Zhong felt that this Grandmaster Jiang should know something important. Perhaps he could explain why the current world was like this. Thinking of this, he pulled out his sword and placed it against Grandmaster Jiang's neck. If you answer me honestly, I will spare your life. Is that so? Grandmaster Jiang nodded. I will be obedient. Whatever you want to ask, I will definitely answer properly. Why do you say that it's impossible for me to have a first-grade spirit root? I have some documents in my room. Come with me to get them. Wang Zhong thought for a moment and nodded. Let's go. Grandmaster Jiang walked in front while Wang Zhong and Lu Hu walked behind him. Arriving in front of a wooden box, Grandmaster Jiang said, It's in this box. I'll open it for you. Looking at the box, Wang Zhong's eyes narrowed. There was an evil aura circulating around the box. It was obvious that it was used to store evil items. This dog actually wants to trick me. Wang Zhong's sword cut off Grandmaster Jiang's arm. Grandmaster Jiang screamed and fell to the ground. Ah, you. Why are you doing this? There's obviously something evil in this box. Are you trying to trick me? You can see it. Grandmaster Jiang's eyes trembled. A first-grade spirit root can see evil items. Sure enough. Ha ha ha. You're not an ordinary person. At this moment, even if Wang Zhong didn't know the meaning of a first-grade spirit root, he could roughly guess it. Most likely, a first-grade spirit root is extraordinary. However, he wasn't too surprised. After all, when he was cultivating, he faintly guessed that a first-grade spirit root cultivator's cultivation speed was very fast. This fast, not only was the speed fast, but the strength of the cultivation was even stronger. For example, he only found out later that the boy's urine was useless. The reason why it was useful when he was young was because of his body, because of his spirit root. Even if it was urine, it could destroy evil items. Hurry up and say it, or I will kill you. Wang Zhong said coldly. He wasn't prepared to talk nonsense with him. Okay, you listen. Grandmaster Jiang's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. Suddenly, his strength rushed towards Wang Zhong as he rushed towards the wooden box. You're courting death. Wang Zhong was already on guard against this person. He threw out the sword and easily nailed Grandmaster Jiang to the wooden board. You won't tell me until you die. Wang Zhong looked at him and said, You won't let me go, so I naturally have to leave a way out for myself. Unfortunately, my skills are not as good as yours. Grandmaster Jiang spat out blood and said vaguely, You really won't say it. Wang Zhong stared at Grandmaster Jiang. If you don't say it, I'm afraid your family won't live well. He a cultivator. If you don't look out for yourself, then the heavens and earth will destroy you. Family and whatnot, they are all external things. So that's how it is. In your eyes, family is not worth mentioning. Wang Zhong said, Zhao Xiaodong, I don't know why your first-grade spirit root wasn't tested, but you won't live long. Is that so? Grandmaster Jiang's eyes slowly straightened, and finally, there was no more sound. Until the moment of his death, he still didn't tell the truth. Dog, you deliberately hid it from me. Wang Zhong kicked the corpse and glanced at the wooden box that he wanted to take. It was filled with evil energy. Xiaodong, I'll go outside to appease the villagers. I'll leave this to you. Lu Hu didn't disturb Wang Zhong and directly said, Okay. After Lu Hu went out, he picked up the wooden box filled with evil energy. That guy wanted to open the wooden box before he died. I'm afraid this is his other trump card. Wang Zhong thought in his heart, but didn't plan to open the wooden box. Instead, he searched Grandmaster Jiang's body. He didn't have anything good on him, but in his room, he found some books. Exorcism. Introduction to Charms. Other than these 2 books, the rest were unorthodox, such as how to control demons. There were many ways to control demons, and one of them was to imprison the demon soul. There were also some ways to use poison. Wang Zhong noticed that one of them was called the 10,000 Poison Immortal Technique. Although it was called an immortal technique, It was actually very vicious. It killed countless people and used their souls as bait to feed the poison. Finally, the poison was refined and stored in the wooden box. No wonder he killed so many people. I'm afraid this guy was practicing the 10,000 poison immortal technique. After thinking about it, Wang Zhong decided to keep the box. It would be troublesome if this thing was left outside. He might as well keep it as a trump card. Although Wang Zhong had only been in this world for more than 10 years, he knew the importance of having a trump card and acting tough after coming into contact with so many enemies recently. After wrapping the box in a cloth and carrying it on his back, he began to read the exorcism book. It was obvious that it was an evil technique. Simply put, it was to control evil creatures. For example, the evil creature that haunted the Lu family village at night was actually Grandmaster Zhang's doing. Because the villagers didn't dare to go up the mountain, the weasel could catch fewer and fewer people. Therefore, in order to continue practicing the evil technique, he used the evil creatures to kill people. The so-called not being able to go out at night was just a pretense to comfort the villagers. The boundless giant evil creature from before was a giant evil creature cultivated by the exorcism book. If Wang Zhong didn't have so many charms, it would be troublesome. After reading this book, Wang Zhong had a new understanding of the exorcism book. Although this is an evil technique, it depends on who is using it. If I use it, I can control many evil creatures. Wang Zhong thought to himself. After subduing the pig demon, he realized how convenient it was to use evil creatures to do things. Of course, the prerequisite was to control them. Kill the demon family, kill them. At this time, the villagers outside shouted angrily. Chapter 155. Wang Zhong did not continue reading the spirit root testing method. Instead, he put away the books and walked out immediately. At this moment, the angry villagers had already tied up the village chief's family and Grandmaster Zhang's family. Even the children were not spared. Burn them to death. Burn them to death. These people are the demon's family. Their family killed so many of us. Kill them. The villagers roared angrily. The weasel's corpse was even hung up and whipped by the villagers. Everyone calm down. Lu Hua shouted with all her might. She also understood that the village chief and Grandmaster Zhang's family were innocent. They probably did not know what their family members were doing. However, she was helpless in the face of the angry public opinion. Everyone listen to me. At this moment Wang Zhong walked out. The villagers subconsciously shut their mouths and looked at Wang Zhong curiously. Young Master Zhao, thank you and Lu Hua for helping us get rid of the evil creature. However, these people are the evil creature's family. Please let us kill them. A villager shouted. I just investigated. Their family members have already been killed by the evil creature. Therefore, you have misunderstood. Wang Zhong pointed at the dead weasel. The village chief is already dead. All this time, this darn thing has been hiding in the village chief's body. As for Grandmaster Jiang, he was also controlled by the evil creature. These two people are already dead. Wang Zhong said this because firstly these family members were innocent. There was no need to kill them. Secondly, he wanted to use this opportunity to gain everyone's trust. He wanted to establish his first base here and learn the methods of those masters to lead the villagers. After hearing this, the villagers were skeptical. A few of them quickly untied the family members. The two families quickly knelt in front of Wang Zhong and thanked him. Then, everyone burned the bodies of Grandmaster Jiang and the weasel. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. During this time, the bold villagers began to go up the mountain to chop firewood. Many people came out to hunt at night and did not encounter any danger. At this point, everyone knew that the danger was gone. At the same time, in order to let the villagers have the ability to protect themselves, Lu Hua selected some children and began to teach them how to deal with evil creatures. Everyone listen up. Everyone has to do the same as me. This is called a push-up. Do you understand? Early in the morning, Wang Zhong began to train the children. In order to increase the strength of these children, Wang Zhong opened up their acupoints one by one. Some of the gifted children even managed to cultivate strength qi. I can actually cultivate qi, master. A child who was practicing felt qi and hurriedly ran to Wang Zhong's side. Wang Zhong asked, "What's the level of your spiritual root talent?" This group of children had already been tested for their spiritual roots before, so everyone knew about it. "I'm only level 3. The child lowered his head in shame. "My parents said that I can only live until I'm 30. It's okay. As long as you train more, I can let you live." In order to encourage everyone, Wang Zhong said casually, "Really? Of course it's true." In a short time news of this spread. The whole mountain village knew that the children began to learn martial arts under the guidance of Zhao Xiaodong to deal with evil things. Although the conditions in this place were poor, Wang Zhong lived very comfortably. Because there was no feeling of being on tenterhooks in Snow City, everyone lived under the majesty of a master. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. Now, under the guidance of Wang Zhong, he had already taught dozens of children to cultivate strength qi. And these children all called Wang Zhong master. As for Lu Hua, because of her age, Wang Zhong could not give her a massage. Fortunately, she joined the guide team early. Under her own diligent and hard work, she had a good foundation. Therefore, Wang Zhong gave her a few pointers, and Lu Hua's strength also improved by leaps and bounds. In Snow City, in order not to worry his parents, Wang Zhong sent his eldest disciple, Li Wang, back to the city to give his parents and Lin Wu a handwritten letter. In the letter, he explained in detail that he was doing very well now and was practicing hard. He would find time to come back, but not now. After all, he was now a guide. If he came back this time, it would be difficult for him to find an excuse to leave the city next time. In the blink of an eye, it was the end of the year again. The smile on Lu Hua's face was getting less and less because after the new year, she would be 29 years old. The curse of not living past 30 was coming. "Sister master, let's eat." That night, Lu Wen killed a chicken and prepared a table full of good dishes. The reason was simple. Their house was finally repaired. The house that used to leak when there was wind and rain was no longer afraid of the harsh environment. Wang Zhong nodded. After sitting down, he said, "I'll go back to the city in a few days." "Go back to the city?" "I asked someone to tell Captain Zhou that I won't report to him in the future." Lu Hua said, "Captain Zhou won't say anything." But I can't. After all, I'm a person from Snow City." Wang Zhong thought for a moment. "Before I go, I'll solve the problem of your lifespan tonight." During this period of time, Wang Zhong also checked Lu Hua's body. Finally, he found an evil creature in her stomach. This evil creature was hidden very deeply. If he didn't have a first-class spiritual root talent, and was very sensitive to the existence of evil creatures, he probably wouldn't have been able to detect it in a short time. This also proved that after so many years in this world, the evil creatures in these people's bodies had not been discovered. The requirements were really too high. Not only strength, but also a person with first-class spiritual root talent to be able to find out. Since ancient times, many people with high-grade spiritual root talent had died. First-class spiritual root talents were killed when they were young. It was conceivable why the evil creatures in the short-lived people's bodies had not been found. Unfortunately, although Wang Zhong found out, he had not tested the method to deal with the evil creatures. It was just that when he was checked by others, he tried to deal with the evil creatures, but it was very difficult. If he was not careful, he might kill the host. Therefore, he needed to experiment. After eating, Wang Zhong came to Lu Hua's room and began to check. A burst of energy drilled into Lu Hua's stomach. Lu Hua's brows slightly trembled. This was actually very dangerous, because once Wang Zhong had the intention to kill, the energy that entered her body only needed to shake to kill Lu Hua. Therefore, Lu Hua allowed Wang Zhong to enter her body. One could imagine how much trust she had in Wang Zhong. The evil creature in Lu Hua's body was already very big. It was the size of a fist, like a baby. This evil creature seemed to have developed intelligence. After encountering Wang Zhong's energy, it shrank. This was also one of the strange things about Wang Zhong. His body's strength seemed to have a restraining effect on evil creatures. This was different from other people. "How is it?" Lu Hua looked at Wang Zhong and was a little embarrassed. although Wang Zhong was now 14 years old. But he had already grown up and looked like he had completely become an adult. And although Lu Hu was already 29 years old, she was still inexperienced and was still a little girl. It's the same as before. After thinking for a while, Lu Hu clenched her teeth and said, "Then come I can withstand it, I really can withstand it." "No," Wang Zhong immediately refused. "Once I enter your body, if my energy touches that evil creature, it will be too dangerous. Before I have absolute confidence, I will not take the risk." But, as they were talking, the door was suddenly knocked open. A villager anxiously shouted, "Master, master, save me, my wife can't take it." Chapter 156. Wang Zhong knew the man. He was Li Min, the father of his eldest disciple Li Wang. Li Min's wife was tested to have a third-grade spiritual root. She was 29 years old. "What's wrong?" Wang Zhong opened the door and walked into the living room. The eldest disciple Li Wang knelt down and cried, "Master, my mother's body suddenly turned cold and she lost consciousness. We suspect that her lifespan is coming to an end. You said before that if my mother needed you, I would come over. Master, I beg you, you have to save us." Li Wang was quite sensible. He also had a third-grade spiritual root and was Wang Zhong's favorite disciple. He nodded and said, "Let's go and see what's wrong with your mother." It was already dark outside. Li Wang and his son walked in front with lanterns. "Master Zhao, my child's mother became like this in the afternoon. At first, she only said that she was cold. I didn't think much about it and thought that she had caught a cold, so I let her rest. I didn't expect her to not come out until dinner time. I went to see her and found that she wasn't moving. Only her eyes were open and her body was cold. I immediately thought that her lifespan might be coming to an end." At this moment, the Li family's house was filled with people. This scene was similar to Snow City. Once someone's lifespan was coming to an end, the house would be filled with people. Make way, my master is here." The children in the crowd saw Wang Zhong coming and quickly opened the way for Wang Zhong. Li Wang entered the house and went straight to the inner room. On the bed, an old woman looked at the ceiling with lifeless eyes. Her face was pale. Mother, my master is here. He can definitely save you, definitely," Li Wang said while crying. Wang Zhong sat down and shouted, "You and your son stay here. The rest of you go out." Once Wang Zhong spoke, the group of disciples he had taken in immediately moved. Soon, only he and Li Wang were left in the house. "Li Wang, you are my eldest disciple. There are some things that I need to explain to you. Although I can know the cause of the illness of a person with a short lifespan, I can't cure it completely. So there is a certain possibility that your illness can't be cured." Wang Zhong looked at Li Wang and said, "Bang bang." Li Wang kowtowed repeatedly. "Master, I will not forget your teachings." "All right." Wang Zhong reached out to take the pulse of the woman on the bed. The black fog in the woman's abdomen was already very large, and it was very well hidden. It could be said that a doctor without strength would not be able to find anything by taking her pulse. This was also the reason why so many people with low innate spiritual roots had died over the years. A wisp of energy entered the woman's body and arrived at the edge of the black fog. The black fog had already begun to spread towards the woman's limbs. Unknowingly, it was devouring the woman's life force. Therefore, he had to act quickly. Wang Zhong had no distracting thoughts in his mind, and the father and son beside him didn't dare to move either. In the past, Wang Zhong had practiced this several times. Unfortunately, he had never succeeded. There was even one time where he had almost killed someone. But this time he thought of a solution. Sealer. That's right. He used the characteristics of his own energy to seal the evil things in these people's bodies. Although this was not a cure, it was the best solution for now. Therefore, Wang Zhong was not in a hurry to get rid of the black fog. Instead, he circled the black fog and began to wrap it up with his energy. When the black fog met Wang Zhong's energy, it began to shrink back. Wang Zhong was not surprised by this. His energy was different from other people's. In terms of level, his energy seemed to be a level higher. Therefore, He estimated that the benefits of a level 1 spiritual root talent were not limited to that. Before Grandmaster Jiang died, he had said that the grandmasters in the city seemed to be very afraid of people with level 1 spirit roots. Seal! Wang Zhong shouted softly, and the energy wrapped around the black fog suddenly shrank. The evil thing finally realized that something was wrong. It began to dash left and right, wanting to leave. However, it was too late. The energy had completely wrapped it up. Phew! Wang Zhong breathed a sigh of relief. It's about time. Thank you, Master, thank you. The father and son were grateful. After waiting for a while, the temperature of the old woman on the bed slowly rose. She's recovered, she's really recovered. Li Wang was so excited that he did not know what to say. All right, Li Wang, take good care of your mother. Wang Zhong patted him on the shoulder and walked out. There were still many villagers waiting at the door. They all looked at Wang Zhong hopefully, wanting to see if Wang Zhong's face was good news or bad news. Li Wang's mother has recovered. Wang Zhong shouted. The entire village was boiling. For a moment, everyone was excited. Great! Master Zhao's work is indeed extraordinary. Plop! A person directly knelt down and kowtowed. Thank you, Master Zhao. Thank you, Master Zhao. Long live Master Zhao, Wang Zhong shouted. There's no time to lose. Who else in the village has a short lifespan? I'll check on them. For the next day, Wang Zhong worked hard to seal the souls for everyone. Although it took a long time, Wang Zhong was not very tired. Instead, he felt that he was much more proficient in sealing souls. The next day, Wang Zhong began to seal Lu Hua's soul alone. Come on. Lu Hua lay on the bed and closed her eyes. Seeing Lu Hua's expression, Wang Zhong felt a little amused. Could it be that this girl thought that this was a very painful thing? He shook his head and said, Don't be nervous. It doesn't hurt. Is it like acupuncture? Lu Hua asked. It's not acupuncture. It doesn't hurt. After Wang Zhong finished speaking, his energy had already wrapped up the evil thing in Lu Hua's body. The evil thing was already very big, but it had not moved yet. Now that it was wrapped up, the evil thing moved, but unfortunately, it was too late. It was completely sealed. After doing it, Wang Zhong retracted his hand. It's done. It's really simple. Lu Hua sat up. Thank you, Zhao Xiaodong. I feel that I'm really lucky to have met you. Otherwise, not only me, but the villagers would have been killed by Grandmaster Jiang. Corporal Lu, what do you plan to do next? Wang Zhong stood up and looked at the moonlight outside the window. Lu Hua was stunned. Why do you ask? I suspect that the evil thing in our bodies was done during the spirit root test. Every village, town, and city has a grandmaster overseeing it. They are officials appointed by the imperial court. On the surface, they serve the people, but in reality, they kill people with low spirit roots. These days, Wang Zhong had already told Lu Hua about this. Lu Hua was not surprised. It was also because she knew that these grandmasters were appointed by the imperial court that Lu Hua did not report the death of Grandmaster Jiang to Snow City. The nearby villages were all led by Snow City. Zhao Xiaodong, do you have something to say? Lu Hua asked. Corporal Lu, the outside world is very big. You said before that there are many other cities outside. Do you want to go out and have a look? Wang Zhong asked. This? Lu Hua did not know how to answer. Wang Zhong smiled. I'm going to go out and have a look after returning to the city. Suddenly Lu Hua hugged Wang Zhong. Xiaodong, can you take me with you? Corporal Lu, you. Don't call me Corporal. Xiaodong. Do you remember what I said on the first day we left the city? Wang Zhong was a little confused now. He could not figure out why Lu Hua suddenly took the initiative. To be honest, he really did not think that he would have any relationship with other girls at such a young age. But what should he do? Chapter 157. Lu Hua, you. That day I said that as long as you cure me, I'll do whatever you want. Did she say that? That didn't seem to be the case. I know I'm older than you and I don't have the right to talk to you. But I can't control myself. You're my savior, and the savior of my entire village. I, Lu Hua, will never be able to repay you. I can only give myself to you. Looking at Lu Hua, Wang Zhong's heart did not waver. To be honest, Lu Hua's appearance wasn't bad. It was just that her hands were a little rough due to years of practice. However, her figure was absolutely flawless. This was also the reason why the master's disciple, Ouyang, chased after Lu Hua. Lu Hua knew that Ouyang only wanted to play with her, so she rejected him. However, Wang Zhong was not like Ouyang. Although he had solved the problem of the evil spirit in his body, it was only temporarily suppressed. Who knew if it would erupt in the future? Moreover, he could not live in hiding forever. Once the masters knew that he was still alive, he would face endless trouble. Therefore, he did not want to talk about love. Corporal Lu, you're a good woman, but I, Zhao Xiaodong, already have a wife. Wang Zhong said helplessly. Whoa. Lu Hua was a strong woman, and did not cry easily unless she could not hold it in. She was already like this, how could Zhao Xiaodong not be willing? I don't want to be the big one. I just want to be the little one. Lu Hua looked at Wang Zhong with hope. Unfortunately, she was disappointed. Even though she was magnanimous, Wang Zhong's eyes did not waver. Young Master Zhao is indeed not an ordinary person. Even when I threw myself at you, your expression did not change. Lu Hua was reckless. Lu Hua forced a smile. But I, Lu Hua, have already lost my chastity. I don't have the face to see anyone. Since young Master Zhao is not willing to marry me, then forget it. With that, Lu Hua pulled out her sword, and was about to commit suicide. What a chaste woman! Wang Zhong turned pale with fright. His chi flowed out and slapped Lu Hua's sword away. Young Master Zhao, you don't have to save me. I'm no longer clean. Lu Hua, how are you unclean? Wang Zhong asked helplessly. I'm already like this, so of course I'm not clean. Seeing that Lu Hua still wanted to seek death, Wang Zhong immediately pressed her down. Calm down. If you continue like this, I will really make you unclean. Lu Hua immediately stopped moving. Wang Zhong sighed. Keep your voice down. Otherwise, your mother and brother will think that I did something to you. Okay. Lu Hua nodded obediently. In front of outsiders, Lu Hua was an awe-inspiring sergeant. Although she was a woman, she was not weaker than any man. But in front of Wang Zhong, she was like a little girl, incomparably obedient. Xiaodong. Lu Hua wiped her tears. You're right. I shouldn't have forced you like this, but you can follow me from now on. After thinking about it, Wang Zhong said, but I can't bring you back for the time being. He had yet to resolve his own matters, so he naturally didn't want to bring Lu Hua along. Lu Hua obediently said, I'll listen to my husband. After saying that, she took the initiative to change Wang Zhong's clothes. It's already very late. Aren't you going back to your mother's place to rest? Wang Zhong asked. I've already told my mother that I like you. She won't say anything. In short, I'll only marry you in this life. Lu Hua was a bold woman. Bold women also did bold things. So she wouldn't avoid anything at all. Tonight was destined to be a sleepless night. In the next few days, in addition to imparting knowledge to Lu Hua and his disciples, Wang Zhong also told Lu Hua about the next plan. For now it was to hide. His strength was not as good as those masters in Snow City, and he had almost no influence, so he had to hide. The matters in the village were now left to Lu Hua to manage. In a few days, he would return to the city and come back after dealing with things. In the blink of an eye, 5 days passed. Husband, you have to be careful along the way. On the mountain road, Lu Hua carried the luggage and handed it to Wang Zhong. Go back. I'll be back after the new year. Looking at his wife, Wang Zhong smiled. The next time I come back, I'll bring you a gift. Tell me, what do you want? Lu Hua snuggled up to Wang Zhong like a little woman. You're enough for me. It was said that older women were mature and considerate. Needless to say, that was really the case. Originally, Wang Zhong only respected Lu Hua, but now, he was actually satisfied. On the road, Aunt Zhu followed behind. When Aunt Zhu was with him, she was obedient and took care of him meticulously along the way. She basically did all the small chores, so Wang Zhong was very satisfied. The only thing that made him depressed was that Aunt Zhu looked at him differently now. However, he also knew that this thing was always a scourge, so he would beat it from time to let it know its position. Finally, they arrived at Snow City. Originally, Wang Zhong planned to sneak into the city at night, so that the government wouldn't know. However, because Lu Hua stayed in the Lu family village as a guide, she wrote a letter to Zhou Mu, hoping that Zhao Xiaodong would also stay in the Lu family village. Captain Zhou Mu was a good person, so he agreed. Therefore this time Wang Zhong could swagger into the city. "Who are you?" When they arrived at the city gate, the guard stopped Wang Zhong. "I'm from the Lu family village's guide team. I'm here to visit." Wang Zhong straightened his body and bowed. "Okay." The guard glanced at the token in Wang Zhong's hand. "Go in." Wang Zhong entered the city. Since the corpse tide retreated, Snow City returned to its former prosperity. Caravans went out and entered the city. As soon as they entered, the hawkers at the city gate began to shout, "Young master, I have some good silk. Buy some." Forging, it's cheap. Sesame seed cake. One is worth 2 sesame seed cake. Looking at the Snow City that he grew up in, Wang Zhong knew that this was a game world. But he couldn't help but feel excited. He was about to go home. He wondered how his parents and Lin Wu were doing. Recently, the auspicious inn could be said to be very busy. First of all, it was close to the end of the year. The people in the city had spare money. So many people came to eat. Second, everyone knew that Zhao Xiaodong was a short-lived person. However, for some reason, the news of Zhao Xiaodong's great contribution spread out. Therefore, the neighbors knew that Zhao Xiaodong was a great hero in the Battle of the Corpse Tide. These days, Lin Wu had been helping at the auspicious inn. The neighbors also knew that Lin Wu had married Zhao Xiaodong. "Xiao Wu, it's almost the new year. Xiaodong is coming back, right?" Her best friend Xiang and her friends ordered some dishes and asked after they sat down. "I'm not sure, but I think he should be back soon," Lin Wu said as she looked at the bustling street. In fact, she didn't say anything on the surface, but in her heart, she was looking forward to Zhao Xiaodong coming back soon. "And this time he's back. You can't let him run around," Xiang said seriously. Suddenly, her gaze froze as she looked behind Lin Wu. Lin Wu didn't notice anything and smiled. "Then you guys eat." As she spoke, she turned around and was also stunned. She didn't know when, but Zhao Xiaodong was standing behind her with a smile. Xiaodong. "Silly girl, there are so many people here. Don't cry," Wang Zhong said. My son is back." Zhao Dahai looked up and saw Wang Zhong and excitedly shouted, "My son's mother, Xiaodong, is back." Chapter 158. On the first day of returning home, Zhao Dahai once again personally cooked and invited Lin Wu's parents. The two families had a happy meal together. As for Aunt Zhu, Wang Zhong did not bring her home. Instead, he booked a guest room for her to stay. During the meal, Wang Zhong talked about recent events. In general, he was a guide in Lu village. That place was not dangerous, and it was very comfortable. However, he did not talk about other things. After all, the things behind the master were too dangerous. It would not be good for his family to know. As for the matter of his lifespan, he also talked about it ambiguously. For the time being, he did not plan to let his family know. If the news spread, everyone would know that he solved the problem of his lifespan. Once the news spread to the mayor's mansion, it would be even more troublesome. Therefore, Wang Zhong only chose to talk about some unimportant things. After 3 rounds of wine, Lin Prefecture asked, "Xiaodong, what are your plans for next year?" "I will still go to Lu village," Wang Zhong said. Xiaoji held her daughter's hand and said worriedly, "But after all, you just got married. You have to leave again." Although Xiaoji was quite satisfied with Zhao Xiaodong, she felt a little sad when she thought of her daughter, staying in an empty room every night. "Mother, don't say any more. I believe that Xiaodong has something to do," Lin Wu whispered. "Xiaodong, why do you still want to go? If you want to find an easy job, father can find a way for you," Zhao Dahai said. "I do have an idea about this matter, but some things are very complicated," Wang Zhong said. "What do you want to say? You can say it," Lin Prefecture also said. "I'm there to learn from the master." In order to not let his family get to the bottom of it, Wang Zhong could only say this. But the master does not want others to know about this, so it's better not to talk about it. "I see. Hearing this, Lin Prefecture, Shaoji, and the others did not say anything. However, Lin Wu looked at Wang Zhong in surprise. She seemed to know something. Well, if you learn from the master, that's fine. But Xiaodong, Lin Wu is your wife after all. You still have to come back often to see her, okay? Zhao Dehai knew that it was already a blessing to let Lin Wu marry into the family. Therefore, he sternly warned. After dinner, Wang Zhong and Lin Wu returned to their room to freshen up and prepare to rest. The two of them fell on the bed. Lin Wu asked, Xiaodong, are you? Xiao Wu, what do you want to ask? Since the meal, Lin Wu's expression had been not quite right. Wang Zhong had long wanted to ask, do you have other women outside? Lin Wu looked at Wang Zhong with hidden bitterness. Wang Zhong felt a little guilty. Although he didn't do it on purpose, it wouldn't be good if Lin Wu found out about it. Seeing that Wang Zhong did not speak, Lin Wu was a little unhappy. It's like this. Wang Zhong briefly explained the ins and outs of the matter. Lin Wu was stunned. So, she is the same as you. She also has a short lifespan. Yes, but I temporarily suppressed the evil in my body. You must not tell anyone, including your parents. Wang Zhong said solemnly. Well, I know the importance of this. Lin Wu nodded. She also knew that the so-called masters in the city were not good people. After the new year, I will leave the city. I need to completely solve the thing in my body and see what the outside world is like. Wang Zhong said. Lin Wu did not speak. Although she was reluctant, she understood that if Xiaodong wanted to live past the age of 21, this was the only way. In the blink of an eye, another year passed. The weather of this new year was particularly cold, and it was snowing heavily outside. However, Wang Zhong still prepared for a while and was ready to leave the city. His parents had already said goodbye to him. Wang Zhong and Lin Wu walked all the way. Xiaodong, next time you come back, can you bring Lu Hua back to see? Or I can go back. Lin Wu said with some expectations. Okay, Xiao Wu. You are all cultivators. After you meet, you can learn from each other. Wang Zhong smiled and suddenly said seriously. But after I leave, remember to keep a low profile. Don't let those related to the masters come in. I understand. Don't worry. After thinking for a while, Lin Wu said seriously. It's strange. I slept with you. Why is my belly still not big? Wang Zhong touched his nose and did not explain. He only said, we are still too young. Okay. Lin Wu was helpless. Zhao Xiaodong. Suddenly Sun Dainyu ran over. Dainyu, what do you want? Lin Wu frowned. I want to say something. Sun Dainyu snorted and did not look at Lin Wu. Behind Sun Dainyu was a group of friends. Dainyu, what's the matter? Wang Zhong looked at him and said, Xiaodong, don't misunderstand. This time, we are here to send you off. Sun Dainyu said and took some luggage from Asyong. I don't have anything to give you. I only have some pork and chicken. I hope you don't mind. This Sun Dainyu was quite generous. Wang Zhong did not argue and took the meat. Dainyu, fellow villagers, thank you. Dainyu, I also thank you. Lin Wu said and noticed Sun Dainyu and Asyong snuggling together. Her eyes lit up. You guys. Hee, I and Asyong are engaged. Sun Dainyu said. Asyong touched her belly and said, I'm pregnant. So fast. Lin Wu said enviously. Seeing his childhood friends become little adults, Wang Zhong sighed. In the blink of an eye, he was about to become an adult in this life. Wang Zhong left the city. Lin Wu and Asyong went back. After a while, Auntie Zhu, who had been waiting outside the city for a long time, came over. Hello, Master. How's the thing I asked you to do? Wang Zhong asked. Although he had been at home these days, he had given Auntie Zhu some tasks. That was to sneak into the city lord's mansion and find the map of their country. Auntie Zhu quickly said, I found it. Master, you are so smart. I didn't dare to go to those masters to find it, so I just entered the city lord's mansion. I really did find the map. This map is in City Lord Zhou Yang's study. Let me see. Wang Zhong took the map. But Master, this map is very sloppy. It seems to only draw some important cities and roads. Auntie Zhu was stupid, so looking at the map made her dizzy. However, when Wang Zhong took it, he was shocked. Good. This map did not draw towns and villages in detail. However, it was able to accurately map out the surrounding cities. There were dozens of cities in total. Among them, these cities were connected by one or two official roads. Let's go back to the Liu family village first before we set off. After making up his mind, Wang Zhong walked out. After staying in the Liu family village for only 3 days, Wang Zhong left. He only went with Auntie Zhu. After all, this trip was full of danger, and he did not know what the road ahead was. After bidding farewell to Lu Hua, Wang Zhong walked along an official road and headed to a place called Iron Sand City. The reason why he chose this place was because it was the closest to Snow City, so it was convenient. The official road was indeed easy to walk on. Not only was it spacious, but he could also often see people hurrying towards Snow City. These were all traveling merchants. They used the day to travel and had to enter the city before night. Otherwise, it would be very unsafe to stay outside. Master, there seems to be a convoy in front. Auntie Zhu's 4 pig trotters ran fast and had been scouting ahead. After discovering that there were people in front, she immediately came back to report. Chapter 159. It's already noon. Why are they leaving now? After listening to Aunt Zhu's report, Wang Zhong was puzzled. I'm not sure, but the caravan seems to have a lot of people. It should be a large caravan. Wang Zhong thought for a moment and said, let's go. If there's a caravan, it'll be more convenient to know the route. He immediately sped up and rushed toward the caravan. Wang Zhong didn't ride a horse. It wasn't that they couldn't get a horse, but that they didn't need one. Whether it was him or Aunt Zhu, they walked as fast as a horse, so they didn't need one. In the caravan of the Mao family, a young man sitting in a carriage was eating grapes given by a servant. He sighed in his heart. Rower is really good at this lovely spring brothel. It's a pity that the old housekeeper urged me to leave. Otherwise, I would have stayed for a few more days. At this time, the old man outside the carriage sighed and said, Young master, it's already noon. Let's order the caravan to speed up. Otherwise, we won't be able to reach the relay station in the night. Although the distance between each city was long, there were relay stations for the traveling merchants to rest on the way. These relay stations weren't big, but there were some strong people guarding them. They weren't afraid of evil beings. Uncle Sun, I'm not criticizing you, but our caravan has 2 strong chi masters. You don't have to worry. The young master touched the hand of the maid beside him and continued to smile. Moreover, the zombie horde outside Snow City has been eliminated. Nothing has happened in this year. Don't worry. Young master, safety is the most important thing. After all, we have so many people and so many goods. Uncle Sun was quite dissatisfied with the young master's attitude. But who let him be the master? Thinking of this, he felt helpless. The young master had lived a luxurious life since he was young. He hadn't even killed a chicken. He didn't know what the master was thinking, letting him take the young master out to gain experience. If he wanted to gain experience, then so be it. Not to mention that he didn't know anything. He actually dared to flirt with other women. Originally, their caravan was going to leave early in the morning, but the young master hooked up with a girl called Ro. They didn't know what time they played last night. They only got up late today, so their caravan was late. Alright. It's safe. Alright then. Let's speed up and get to Iron Sand City before nightfall. The brocade-robed man in the carriage waved his hand impatiently. After she finished speaking, she pulled down the curtain of the carriage and began to whisper sweet nothings to the servant girl. Uncle Sun shook his head and sighed. He lightly kicked his horse and ran to the front. In front of them, the 2 leading chi masters were chatting on horseback. These 2 men were the great escorts of the Mao family's caravan. They were very strong. Everyone listen up. Let's speed up and try to reach the Iron Sand City before nightfall. Uncle Sun came to the front and shouted in a stern voice. Yes. Everyone in the caravan shouted in unison, and the speed of the caravan increased significantly. At this moment, Wang Zhong and Aunt Zhu arrived at the back of the convoy. Seeing the convoy speed up, Wang Zhong pondered. Those people are probably trying to reach Iron Sand City before nightfall. Master, are we going over? Let's go over. They're all ordinary people. They should be able to help. Just as they were talking, the convoy stopped unexpectedly. It was noon, and the convoy was preparing to rest. After all, even if the people were not tired, these horses still needed to eat and drink. If the horses fell, it would be more troublesome than if the people fell. Who are you? Why are you following us? When Wang Zhong approached them, 5 people in the convoy walked over with swords in their hands. I'm in a hurry. This is my servant Aunt Zhu. Wang Zhong cupped his hands and said, Hee, I'm in a hurry. Aunt Zhu looked harmless. The 5 people saw nothing special about Wang Zhong and Aunt Zhu. They nodded and said, Okay, don't look around. You can go over. Wang Zhong led Auntie Zhu as they walked. Soon, the oldest-looking old man walked over. Elder son, this person said that he was in a hurry. Elder son glanced at Wang Zhong. Where are you going? To be honest, I'm from Snow City. I'm just traveling. This person beside me is my servant. She has been taking care of my daily life since I was young. She's going with me. Wang Zhong did not come up with any other excuses. After all, these people had been doing business for many years. If he casually came up with an excuse, he would definitely be suspected. Although Wang Zhong was not afraid of these people, he still needed their help. Therefore, it was best to tell them the truth. Oh, traveling? Elder son sized up Wang Zhong. He realized that this young man was not only handsome, but also energetic. Compared to his useless young master who only knew how to eat, drink, and play, Wang Zhong was much better. Of course, such a person was not the kind of person who only knew how to enjoy life. Therefore, elder son believed Wang Zhong a little. As for the aunt beside the young man, she looked plump and honest. She was a typical married woman. However, for some reason, he felt that it was strange to be on the official road. To be safe, he said, Young master, there are many evil creatures outside. It's dangerous for you and your servant to be alone. Yes, to be honest, I'm a short-lived person. Wang Zhong said. You're a short-lived person? Elder son was stunned. That's right. I'm not willing to die early. So I came out with my servant to find an opportunity to continue living. Elder son understood. To put it bluntly, he did not want to die early and wanted to seek treatment outside. But people with short lifespans have to serve as guides. Although my family is not very rich, we have some foundation. My father raised some money for me, so I can avoid the pain of serving in the army. This reason was worth 99 points. 1 point more, and he would be arrogant. At this point, elder son understood. The people around also understood. The entire group was relieved. At the same time, many people had absolute sympathy for Wang Zhong. Look, short-lived people have a tough life. Uncle, I see that you're traveling merchants all year round. You should know that there should be some people with special abilities in this big world, right? Wang Zhong asked. Elder son frowned and said, To be honest, there are indeed people with special abilities, such as those masters, but no one can cure your lifespan. Wang Zhong pretended to be disappointed. Is that so? Of course. You should know that the masters in this world are already top-notch people with special abilities. If they can't solve something, how can others solve it? Elder son shook his head and sighed. It seemed that the people of this world had a deep-rooted view of the masters. Uncle, have you heard of the Light Faction? Light Faction? Elder son thought for a moment and shook his head. Seeing that he could not get anything out of him, Wang Zhong lost interest. Then he rested with the group and moved out together. Because Wang Zhong and Aunt Zhu were harmless, elder son did not chase them away. Thus they set off together. Young Master Zhao. My family's young master is called Mao Feng. He doesn't know the rules. Please don't laugh at him when you see him later. Elder son reminded him when they left. On the other hand, Wang Zhong didn't say anything. He felt that this uncle's son was a pretty good person. It seemed that he had relied on this to travel extensively for so many years. In the afternoon, Mao Feng and his servant finally walked out of the carriage. Elder son, let's rest first. This young master is going to relieve himself. Mao Feng said. Young master, there are only a few more hours until we reach Iron Sand City. People have 3 needs. Do you want me to pull the carriage? Mao Feng muttered to himself as he walked towards the forest. Just as he entered, a fragrance floated over. Chapter 160. At this moment, Wang Zhong was also resting with the caravan. Along the way, Wang Zhong secretly gave Uncle Sun some silver, so he got a lot of useful information. For example, they were going to Iron Sand City, which was bigger than Snow City, and there were 5 masters there. Iron Sand City was rich in iron sand, and the ironware there was very good. It was a very important commodity for the Mao family caravan. And the Mao family was based in Iron Sand City. Their caravan didn't go everywhere. Their main purpose was to go to several cities around Iron Sand City. So Uncle Sun didn't know much about further places. However, Wang Zhong also learned some very important information from him. That was, the Hui dynasty was indeed very powerful. They had strong soldiers and strong horses, and no one dared to attack them for hundreds of years. In addition to these ordinary soldiers, the most powerful one was the imperial preceptor. That's right. All the masters in the Hui dynasty were appointed by the imperial preceptor. The imperial preceptor could be said to be second only to one person. But now, except for the emperor, very few people knew what the imperial preceptor looked like. Therefore, the imperial preceptor was not as famous as the masters in the major cities. Knowing this, Wang Zhong secretly remembered it. I didn't expect the imperial preceptor to be around the emperor. The masters in each city were appointed by the imperial preceptor. This gave Wang Zhong the feeling that this so-called imperial preceptor might be a top expert. The so-called appointed masters were nothing more than using these masters to enslave everyone. Uncle Sun, the young master has been in the forest for a long time and hasn't come back yet. At this time, a servant came over. What are you doing? Didn't I ask you to protect the young master? Uncle Sun stared at him. He didn't expect such a thing to happen at this time. Uncle Sun, we are protecting him, but when the young master was urinating, he suddenly didn't let us follow him. He said that he was going to the forest to pee. He walked quickly, so we thought that since it was not far away, we didn't follow him, the servant said with some grievance. You can't do anything right. Uncle Sun scolded and immediately shouted, Fan Chonglong Fong Lin. Fan Chonglong and Fong Lin were the masters of strength. Hearing this, they hurried over. Uncle Sun, what's the matter? Fong Lin, who was relatively skinny, asked curiously. Young master went to relieve himself. He hasn't been back for a long time. You guys take some people into the forest to look for him. Uncle Sun said, the 3 of us will split into 3 groups. The rest of you will guard here. Got it. Fan Chonglong and Fong Lin replied in unison. Then they went down to make preparations. Young Master Zhao, forgive me for not being able to entertain you, Uncle Sun said. Uncle Sun, you go ahead. After that, Uncle Sun also led his men into the forest. Looking at the busy crowd, Wang Zhong frowned. If he couldn't find the young master, he wouldn't be able to follow these people. It would be troublesome. After all, even though he had a map, it was only a general location. Who knew what would happen along the way? Being able to travel with them would save him a lot of effort. Hence, she took the initiative to walk towards the forest. Auntie Zhu followed beside her. Auntie Zhu, did you find anything? Although Auntie Zhu was a pig, her sense of smell was still quite sensitive, so Wang Zhong asked. Strange place? I don't think so. But I smell a flowery fragrance. Flowery fragrance? Wang Zhong was silent. There weren't any flowers here. How could there be a flowery fragrance? Young Master Zhao, why are you here? Uncle Sun asked curiously when he saw Wang Zhong and Auntie Zhu walking over. After all, we are traveling together. I'll help you find him. The more people there are, the more strength there is. Wang Zhong said. The more people there are, the more strength there is. Thank you, young Master Zhao. Uncle Sun said. As the group of people walked, the group of subordinates came to the place where Mao Feng went to the toilet. This is where young master left. This young master is too strange. Why did he walk around for no reason? Could it have been taken away by some jackals and wolves? Pooey, don't talk nonsense. Be careful that Uncle Sun doesn't find out and punish you. As the few of them chatted, Wang Zhong and Uncle Sun walked over. After knowing that Mao Feng went missing here, Mao Feng said, "Young master has been weak since he was young. He can't walk far. Everyone look around." Just as he finished speaking, a subordinate shouted from afar, "Uncle Sun, young master is here. But it's a little strange. I called him, but he didn't respond. Come over quickly." After walking for a while, they indeed saw Mao Feng lying on the ground on a small hill full of flowers. His posture was very elegant. At this moment, Mao Feng had taken off his pants and was lying on the ground. He looked like he was enjoying himself. From time to time, he would use force. His appearance stunned everyone. What was he doing? This posture, could it be that he was... Uncle Sun was also a person with vigor. So when he saw this scene, his expression changed. Young master, young master." There was no response. Mao Feng still had an intoxicated look on her face, as she muttered something under her breath. Uncle Sun, could it be that young master has been enchanted by something evil? As strange things often happened in this world, people immediately guessed. It must be. It's probably a female ghost or something. At this moment Fan Changlong came over. His strength was the strongest among these people. He took out a talisman and shouted, "Meditation incantation." This thing was specially used to deal with people who were enchanted. It could calm the victim's mind. Unfortunately, it was useless. After throwing the meditation incantation over, it was like a piece of waste paper. Why is it useless? Is it not an evil thing? Fan Changlong whispered, "Pull him up." Fong Lin walked over and pushed Mao Feng. Unfortunately, Mao Feng still did not move. What's going on? Fong Lin was puzzled. In the crowd, only Wang Zhong looked solemn. He could see any evil thing. So he could easily see that there was a small wildflower under Mao Feng's body. At this moment, the small wildflower was under Mao Feng. The man and the flower were actually, of course, this kind of thing could not be said. Saying more would be asterisk 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 asterisk. Young master, young master. Seeing that something was wrong, Uncle Sun wanted to use brute force to pull Mao Feng out. But at this moment, Mao Feng suddenly raised his head. Why are you guys here? Young master, you've been here for a long time. Why aren't you leaving? Uncle Sun's expression was strange. It was mainly because Mao Feng was naked now. This posture was really indecent. You guys go back first. Don't bother with me. I'll come over later, Mao Feng said. Young master Mao, if you continue like this, I'm afraid you'll be sucked dry, Wang Zhong said at this moment. Uncle Sun turned around in surprise. Listening to young master Zhao Xiaodong's words, he seemed to know something. However, when he recalled that this young man used to be part of the guide team, he felt relieved. After all, the people in the guide team always knew a little about those things. Young master Zhao, can you tell me why this is? Uncle Sun quickly asked. Pull him out first. But remember to be gentle. Otherwise, it won't be good if you break him, Wang Zhong said. Chapter 161. Break it. The expressions of the surrounding people changed when they heard that. Some of those who wanted to help their young master didn't dare to make a move. After all, this was their master. If their master was injured, they would not be able to bear the consequences. Fortunately, Uncle Sun had the highest seniority here. He personally helped Mao Feng up. Young master, get up. Uncle Sun shouted. No, don't. Mao Feng shouted with all his might. At that moment Wang Zhong walked over. Something unexpected happened. As Wang Zhong walked over, the flower under Mao Feng slowly receded. Auntie Zhu glanced at Mao Feng and gestured with her thumb. She suddenly realized that it did not fit, so she gestured with a small bamboo pole beside her. Only then did she feel that the size was about right. When Wang Zhong saw this, he frowned and said, Auntie Zhu, stop gesturing. Hey, master. I'm just curious if everyone is like that. Ahem. Of course not. Fan Changlong said. Fong Lin also puffed out his chest. I'm average. About 5 times. Wang Zhong was speechless. These people really had nothing better to do. He did not even say 6 times. Forget it. I should keep a low profile to prevent others from feeling inferior. That would be a sin. But at that moment, Malfong suddenly shouted. What? What? I'm resting. Just as he finished shouting, he was stunned for a moment and looked around in puzzlement. You were mesmerized, Wang Zhong said. Didn't I just encounter? After Malfong said that, he looked around curiously. Wasn't there a pavilion just now? Young master, you were lying on the ground and playing with this flower. Uncle Sun said coldly. Was I dreaming? Malfong scratched his head. I clearly saw a woman in the pavilion. She said she was cold. I pitied her and asked her to leave with me. Then, she was mesmerized by my charm. She wasn't mesmerized by you. She was just lusting after your body, Wang Zhong said. Being interrupted by Wang Zhong made Malfong feel ashamed and angry. What are you talking about? I'm handsome and strong. Isn't it normal to be charmed by me? Young master, there aren't any women here, only a bunch of wild flowers. Someone reminded him. Immediately, Malfong quivered. He seemed to have realized something, and his eyes widened. I've encountered an evil being? Save me, save me. Malfong screamed in horror and instantly stood up, trampling the surrounding flowers and plants. Young master, you're fine now. Hurry up and leave, Uncle Sun hurriedly said. Yes, let's go, let's go. Malfong, who had regained his senses, did not dare to stay here any longer. At this moment, he wished he could grow another leg and quickly leave. After he left, Uncle Sun and Fan Chonglong stopped there. Young Master Zhao, you said that the young master was sucked dry. Could it be that you saw something? Uncle Sun asked. In Wang Zhong's eyes, there was a flower in front of him that seemed to have a human face. Looking at the flower, Wang Zhong did not hide anything. He nodded and said, It should be a demon. What demon? In this world, there were many kinds of evil beings. Among them, there were many ghosts and demons. However, most people saw ghosts the most because ghosts generally harmed people. Therefore, there were many people who encountered ghosts. Although there were many demons, most of them cultivated the Great Tao and focused on karma and reincarnation. Therefore, they rarely harmed people like the pig demon. Since it's a demon, why didn't the meditation incantation work? Uncle Sun asked. It probably ran away. This flower field is just one of its strongholds, Wang Zhong analyzed. Although the smiling flower in front of him was still smiling, it had lost its spiritual energy. Wang Zhong reckoned that this demonic flower had already cultivated to the point where it could move freely. However, in terms of strength, it was probably not as strong as the pig demon. Otherwise, Malfong would have been sucked dry and would not be so lively now. So that's the case. Let's see if I don't destroy this flower field to prevent it from harming people. Uncle Sun had a strong sense of justice. After saying that, he raised his sword and destroyed all the flowers. After he was done, he looked at the sky and frowned. It's already late. I'm afraid we won't be able to reach Iron Sand City in time. Let's hurry. Yes, everyone at the side said. Everyone turned around and left. Wang Zhong looked at the wasteland and felt that it was quite interesting. Although the smiling flower had been cut in half, the strange thing was that the flower seemed to be very tough. Even when it fell to the ground, it did not bend at all. He picked it up and took a look. He realized that the flower was emitting a faint fragrance. Unfortunately, the fragrance was too weak. He did not have any reaction when he smelled it. This thing should be the demon's main body. It escaped without its main body. I'm afraid it won't live for long, Wang Zhong thought to himself. The main body was equivalent to a physical body. If it left the physical body, it would be fine for a short period of time. However, as time passed, it would be finished sooner or later. Thinking of this, Wang Zhong prepared to destroy the flower and get rid of the demonic flower. However, at this moment Aunt Zhu, who had been waiting for Wang Zhong, said, Master, this flower has become a demon. It seems that it can be used as medicine. Used as medicine? Tell me about it. Wang Zhong's raised hand paused. He was already considered a cultivator. Of course, he knew that there were some miraculous elixirs in this world. For example, the spirit root ash that he had taken when he was young. It was considered a folk prescription, but it was very effective. It could actually make those masters test a talent that was one level lower than the original one, without changing the talent of the spirit root. For example, a person who originally had a level 3 spirit root could only be tested as a level 4 spirit root. A level 4 spirit root could only be tested as a level 5 spirit root. However, the essence of the spirit root's talent did not change. Because of this, Wang Zhong reckoned that the evil thing that had been implanted in him had caused it to erupt when he was 20 years old. Therefore, in a sense, the spirit root ash had saved his life. Master, I only found out about it after I caught a herbalist. These herbalists gather herbs all year round, but they don't give much to ordinary people. After all, ordinary people only have headaches and fevers at most. Ordinary medicine is enough. Wang Zhong nodded. That's why he said that most of the medicine is for cultivators. I heard that some cultivators eat miraculous elixirs that can increase their strength by a lot. For example, the body of this flower spirit might be able to be used as medicine. When we reach a big city, we can look for a medicinal workshop. Maybe we can exchange it for something valuable. After hearing the pig demon's words, Wang Zhong was tempted. He decisively put away the item and praised, "Your information is very good. It's my duty, master. Back then, that herbalist gave me some medicine in order to survive. It helped me replenish a lot of my power." Wang Zhong understood. No wonder the pig demon was so strong, even though he did not cultivate much. It turned out that in addition to the opportunity to obtain elixirs at home, he also obtained another opportunity later on. There was nothing to say about his luck. Wang Zhong was envious of himself. Not long after he left, he saw a woman in red drifting back from a distant valley. Chapter 162. The woman's expression didn't look too good. She looked at the smashed flowers on the ground and frowned. What a ruthless person. I little flower only took a small breath of yang energy. He actually destroyed my house. Sisters. This little flower clearly had feelings for her kind. Looking at the pile of lifeless flowers, her tears fell. At this moment, her expression changed drastically. Where's my body? The flower with the smiling face was gone. That was her original body. Without her original body, she could only live in this world as a soul. Not only could she not cultivate, but as time passed, her energy would gradually disappear until she turned into nothingness. No, 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 I want to find my original body. The woman snorted and sensed in her heart. My original body is walking toward Iron Sand City. In an instant, the woman turned into a cloud of green smoke and disappeared. At the same time, the flower fragments on the ground also turned into ashes. From then on, this place where flower demons were born completely disappeared. The fragrance of flowers that used to spread far and wide was gone. That was so close. I was actually doing that to the flowers? The carriage was still moving. However, at this moment, the frightened Malfong was no longer sitting in the carriage. Instead, he was riding a horse, and was still recalling what had happened. When he thought of how he was facing a wildflower in the wasteland dam, it was quite exciting. However, while Malfong felt excited, he was actually extremely scared. He knew that if he encountered such a situation, he would probably be dead if no one saved him. Thinking of this, he thanked Uncle Sun one after another. Uncle Sun, fortunately it's you. When we go back, I will definitely talk to my father and ask him to reward you, Malfong said. Uncle Sun shook his head slightly. Although I'm working for your family, I'm still your father's sworn brother. You don't have to be so polite with me. Malfong smiled awkwardly. He felt that his words just now had indeed treated Uncle Sun as an outsider. If you want to thank someone, thank young Master Zhao. If you didn't make the prompt decision to say that your yang energy was being absorbed, I'm afraid it would have taken a lot of time. Uncle Sun glanced at Wang Zhong and said. Wang Zhong turned around. You're welcome. I'm already very grateful that you've prepared a horse for me. Hey, Uncle Sun said that he wants to thank you, so he must thank you. Malfong politely cupped his hands. After we enter the city, I'll be the host and take you to our most popular harmony garden. Uncle Sun's face darkened. Young Master Zhao is an upright person. Can you not talk about such things less? I'm sorry. Malfong was a little embarrassed. No matter what, "Young Master Zhao. If you need anything after entering the city, I, Mao Feng, will definitely help." "Well, thank you." Wang Zhong did not decline this point. Seeing that Wang Zhong didn't say anything, Mao Feng's expression became extremely complicated. Looking at this young man called Zhao Xiaodong, he was about the same age as Mao Feng. But look at him. At this time, he was already out traveling. Whether it was the way he did things or the way he spoke, he was low-key and neat. Most importantly, his handsomeness was second only to her. Compared to this young Master Zhao, it seemed like there was a huge difference. Hence, she swore in her heart that she would definitely learn from him. Hence, sometimes outstanding peers were the best role models to learn from. Mao Feng thought about a lot of things. This was probably because after someone died once, their entire person changed. Hence, Mao Feng decided to learn from coldness first. From this moment onwards, Mao Feng no longer chattered. Instead, she and Wang Zhong looked straight ahead as they walked at a leisurely pace. Mao Feng stopped talking, and the group became much quieter. This made everyone's ears much quieter. However, because of the delay just now, although the speed of the convoy increased a lot, the sky was already dark. Iron Sand City is too late. Let's go to the relay station in front. Uncle Sun shouted behind. Very quickly, a relay station appeared in front of them. Entering the relay station, there were already many people seated. They were all traveling merchants. "Young master, don't talk too much. Don't cause unnecessary trouble." Before they entered, Uncle Sun reminded Mao Feng. Mao Feng waved his hands. "Uncle Sun, don't worry. I know that." This relay station wasn't too big, and was a little old. However, no one was worried about safety. After all, nothing weird had happened here in a long time. Very quickly, everyone sat down to eat. Uncle Sun was really polite, and invited Wang Zhong to sit too. While eating, Mao Feng looked around like he was sizing up something. At this time, a manservant walked over and poured tea while smiling softly. "Dear guests, do you need any service?" The so-called service meant that if you stayed in a small hotel, in a short while, someone would stuff a card under your door. These small cards often had tempting pictures printed on them. On the back there was a price, and the price was usually back to the main topic. Wang Zhong had lived for so long, so naturally, he knew what the servant meant. Truthfully, these merchants were always outside, and their nerves were tense. Sometimes it was okay to relax, which was why many people were tempted, especially Mao Feng. This fellow was like a cat that smelled blood. His eyes lit up. Very quickly, this fellow and the servant walked to the side and started chatting. "Sigh, this young master, I can't bring him out in the future." Seeing this, Uncle Sun was helpless. He already has a fiancé, but he's still like this. He already has a fiancé. Wang Zhong was a little surprised. That's right. It was arranged when they were young. The two families are well matched in terms of social status. It's a pity. Uncle Sun sighed again. Wang Zhong realized that Uncle Sun's outlook on life was very pessimistic. He was always sighing. "Young master's fiancée is like you. She also has a short lifespan." Uncle Sun shook his head and sighed. Hearing this, Wang Zhong was stunned. Not only is she short-lived, but she's also extremely ugly. Wang Zhong understood. She was short-lived and extremely ugly. No wonder Mao Feng didn't like her. "What's the level of young master Mao's fiancé's spirit root?" Wang Zhong asked. "Level 2. Uncle Sun said seriously. "Don't you think it's strange? When she was young, she also secretly took a folk prescription. It should have increased the level of her spirit root. But I didn't expect her to still be at level 2. Sigh. The speaker didn't mean it, but the listener took it seriously. When Wang Zhong heard this, he thought to himself, "Isn't this the same as me?" When he was young, he also took a folk prescription, and his spirit root was only at level 2. It seemed that Mao Feng's fiancé's spirit root should be at level 1. However, Wang Zhong didn't think too much about it. This was their family matter. At night, Wang Zhong rested alone. As for Aunt Zhu, he arranged for her to stay next door. As for Mao Feng, he didn't know where he had hooked up with a woman. He had already let her into the house. However, in the middle of the night, Wang Zhong felt that something was wrong. A fragrance permeated the air. This smell was really fragrant. It was exactly the same as the smell he smelled in the field of flowers. That flower demon has found its way here? Wang Zhong looked at the wrapped flowers in his arms. He guessed that the flower demon was probably looking for her original body. The smell was getting stronger. The entire inn was very quiet. Wang Zhong simply sat up and looked at his door. He saw that the door was slowly pushed open, and the fragrance became even stronger. A half-dressed person lightly tiptoed and walked in. Chapter 163. If you come any closer, I'll tear this flower apart. All of a sudden, Wang Zhong's calm and composed voice rang out in the room. The person was stunned. Pa! Wang Zhong lit up the candlelight. In front of him was a woman with a seductive figure. Her skin was red, and there was a fragrance coming from her body. The woman obviously did not expect Wang Zhong to suddenly say this. Thus, she immediately lowered her head in grievance and started to cry. I'm just a flower. I've never hurt anyone. Please don't tear my body apart. Sob, sob, sob. Wang Zhong's mouth twitched. Compared to the ferocious pig demon, the contrast between this little flower demon and the ferocious little pig demon was too great. Shut up. Don't cry. If she continued crying, she might think that something was wrong with him. The flower demon immediately shut her mouth. Her eyes were huge. She blinked and said, Master, I really haven't harmed anyone. Don't you cultivators care about karma? If you kill me, it won't be good for you. Haha, so you're saying that you're still thinking for me? I wouldn't dare. You said that you've never hurt anyone, but you seduced Mao Feng today. You're still saying that you haven't hurt anyone? Master, no. You're still denying it. I only sucked a little. I used to let people go after sucking a little. The flower demon said sadly. What ability do you have? Wang Zhong obviously wouldn't believe the flower demon's words so easily. This flower demon looked pitiful, helpless, and weak, but she was still a demon. He asked her this because he considered that if this flower demon had a special ability, it might be useful to him. Ability? That's right. If you're useful to me, I'll keep you. If not, there's no need to keep you. Wang Zhong said coldly. He didn't give the beauty any face. I'm useful. The flower demon mustered her courage. Don't move. I'll make you happy right now. With that, the flower demon shook her head on the spot. If there was a piece of music at this moment, it would be, Let's Shake Together. What was she doing? If it wasn't for the fact that he knew that this flower demon was a demon, and that its brain wouldn't go crazy, he would have thought that this flower demon had gone crazy. Soon, a few colorful seeds sprayed out from the flower demon's body. After these seeds landed on the ground, they suddenly transformed into women. These women walked towards Wang Zhong delicately, and actually started to humph. Wang Zhong coldly snorted, his strength gushed out, and immediately scattered these women. Aya! The flower demon looked at Wang Zhong in shock, and couldn't understand why. You dare to charm me? Wang Zhong took out his bronze sword, and prepared to end the flower demon. I don't dare. Honestly, do you think I'm of any use? The women formed by the pollen are my ability. They can help me absorb the yang energy of other men. However, their bodies are very weak, so they can only absorb a little for me to cultivate. All of a sudden, the flower demon revealed its ability. How many of these women can you summon? Wang Zhong asked. Based on the amount of pollen I have, it should be around a few thousand. A few thousand, not bad. Wang Zhong thought of a good business. If he opened a Lichuan brothel, it would be a business without any capital. Unfortunately, was he that kind of person? Wang Zhong flicked his sleeves, and a righteous aura emanated from his body. What's with this fragrance? Master, this fragrance is the fragrance of flowers. My pollen can only exist in the fragrance of flowers. Wang Zhong raised his eyebrows. No wonder it was so fragrant before. He thought about it carefully. Although this flower wasn't strong, it could split into so many people. It would be good if they could do something for him in the future. Do you want to come in? Wang Zhong took out the flower. The flower demon nodded repeatedly. I've been chasing all the way here, and have consumed a lot of my strength. If I don't go in, I'm afraid my soul will dissipate sooner or later. Well, come in, Wang Zhong said. The flower demon looked at Wang Zhong suspiciously. She didn't trust Wang Zhong, and thought that Wang Zhong had other motives. However, what could a weak flower like her do? If she encountered difficulties, she would be at his mercy. Therefore, she got into the flower. As soon as she entered, Wang Zhu squeezed the flower tightly. Her other hand tugged at a petal. Ouch! It hurts, sob, 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 don't do this to me. Immediately, the flower demon cried. A small drop of dew overflowed from the flower bud. This thing was quite magical. Wang Zhong was not a pervert. Of course, he wouldn't deliberately torture this little demon. He did this to show her his power. I'll take you with me in the future. You have to be obedient, understand? Wang Zhong said expressionlessly. I know. But, what do you want me to do? As the flower demon said, the flower bone trembled slightly. Obviously, she was very scared. We'll talk about this later. The flower demon was a little desperate. Sure enough, this person was like other men. They would talk about it later. She seemed to have seen her dark and gloomy life in the future. However, it was better to live than to die. She could only accept her fate. She only hoped that she would be obedient and make her master happy. Then her life would be better. By the way, how did you get in? Wang Zhong got into the car, inserted the flower into a jade bottle, and asked. The flower bud shook slightly and said, I drugged a woman, and then arranged for a pollen to enter Mao Feng's room. I heard from her that you live here, so I came in. You're quite scheming. Wang Zhong snorted coldly. I'm sorry. The flower demon was depressed. From now on, you'll be called Little Flower. As long as you're obedient, I'll think of a way to let you cultivate and embark on the great Tao of immortality. Wang Zhu first gave her a big stick, and then a date. Anyway, bragging was free. He said that first to stabilize the flower demon. Really? Of course. Don't you see how strong I am? Wang Zhong's body trembled slightly. You're one of those masters? The flower demon was shocked. Something like that. Wang Zhong said. The flower demon felt like she had hugged onto someone powerful. She didn't want to escape anymore. Of course, she couldn't escape even if she wanted to. Wang Zhong stuck a meditation spell on the vase to suppress her demonic power. If she wanted to run out, he would be able to sense it right away. Scared, scared, scared. At this moment, a voice came from Mao Feng's room next door. The flower demon said embarrassedly, This is Xiaonu's pollen. Young Master Mao and I. And go to sleep. Wang Zhong was expressionless. Scared, scared, scared. An hour. Try and see how it feels to hear this voice for an hour. Wang Zhong was about to collapse. This Mao Feng was too strong. Who could withstand it? Fortunately, it was a pollen demon. Otherwise, sigh. Finally, at this moment, the sound disappeared. Wang Zhong heaved a sigh of relief. He looked at Little Flower who was sleeping. This flower could actually sleep. At this moment, the flower bud was drooping and falling asleep. The night was silent. Early the next morning, Mao Feng's crying voice came from next door. Sister, my sister is gone. What happened? Although Uncle Sun looked down on his young master, he was still the master. He was afraid that something would happen to Mao Feng, so he rushed in immediately. The sister who slept with me last night. Why is she gone? Mao Feng cried and shouted. Uncle Sun was so angry that his nose was crooked. Wang Zhong didn't have much of a reaction. He knew from Little Flower that pollen only existed for 10 to 20 hours. Once the energy was used up, it would disappear. Chapter 164. Finally, the caravan continued on its journey. Along the way, Mao Feng was depressed. The reason was self-evident. Young master, don't think about it. Those girls are not clean. One of his subordinates comforted him. Sigh, what do you know? She is really good. Mao Feng sighed. Wang Zhong was curious. How good was she? Sir Zhao, what are your plans for entering the city this time? Uncle Sun ignored his young master and asked Wang Zhong. I don't have a goal for now. I'll take it one step at a time. Wang Zhong said. Uncle Sun nodded. He did not ask Wang Zhong to stay. After all, they were strangers. They could go their separate ways as soon as they entered the city. But at this time Mao Feng said, "Young Master Zhao, if you don't mind, I can bring you around." "Young Master, what are you planning?" Uncle Sun asked helplessly. "Uncle Sun, I'm not planning anything. Young Master Zhao saved me. Of course I have to thank him," Mao Feng said frankly. Uncle Sun did not know what to say. Not long after, the Iron Sand City's huge gate tower came into view. Compared to Snow City, this gate tower was much more magnificent. Especially at the gate, there was an endless stream of merchants coming and going. "Young Master Zhao." At this time, Mao Feng stealthily rode over. "Young Master Mao, what's the matter?" Wang Zhong asked. "I'll bring you into the city later. I'll treat you to wine." Wang Zhong was not in the mood to do such a thing. He waved his hand and said, "Young Master Zhao, there's no need. I still have important things to do." "Sigh, just treat it as doing me a favor." Mao Feng glanced at Uncle Sun and said softly, "Once I get home, I won't be able to come out. If I bring you, I can find an excuse to go out. To be honest, I have a fiancée called Ziru. She's extremely ugly. I don't want to see her. I'll find an excuse to go out this time to meet my old lover. Whatever. I'll leave by myself later." Wang Zhong shook his head and did not say anything else. Finally they entered the city. Mao Feng went to Uncle Sun and said a few words. Then, he excitedly went to Wang Zhong's side. "Young Master Zhao, I've talked to Uncle Sunday. I'll bring you around. When the time comes, you can go anywhere you want. I'll treat you." Wang Zhong knew that Mao Feng was using him as a shield. It was just like when a boy wanted to go to an arcade. But he told his parents that he was going to a classmate's place for tutoring. It was like an older girl who was supposed to go to a hotel with her boyfriend at night. But she told her parents that she was going to study biology with her classmates. Anyway, the logic was the same. In fact, Uncle Sun also understood. However, this was not his son. How could he control him? Besides, it was very safe in the city, so he let him go. Although Wang Zhong didn't really like Mao Feng, he had to admit that with a local guide, he quickly familiarized himself with the place. First of all, because there were many caravans in Iron Sand City, the pharmacies in this place were very big. There were 2 whole streets, and all of them were large pharmacies. It was said that there were medicines for cultivators in these pharmacies. Then, there was the blacksmith shop. The blacksmith shop here was not an ordinary blacksmith shop. It was a large blacksmith shop, and its production skills were much better than those in Snow City. "Young Master Zhao, what do you think of the cloth shop and blacksmith shop?" Mao Feng pointed at the rows of shops not far away and asked. "Very good. Haha, they are all my family's businesses," Mao Feng said proudly. "Look, with my qualifications, what kind of woman can't I find? I don't know what my father is thinking. Why does he want me to marry such a fiancé? Maybe your family is suitable." Wang Zhong replied casually. "Brother Zhao, that's not bad. My fiancé's family is indeed very big. However, my family is already so rich. Is there a need to do this? The most important thing is that Ziru has already said that I can't allow her to marry me." Sigh. Wang Zhong finally understood why Mao Feng was unhappy. It was because of this. He didn't reply, because there was no need to say more. This was someone else's family matter. "Sir, come and play. Sir, look over here, look over here." At this moment, the voices of women came from not far away. Seeing this, Mao Feng became excited. "Brother Zhao, I'm here. If you don't want to go in, you can go to the inn opposite. That's also my family's business." "No need. I'll take my leave." Wang Zhong was about to leave when he suddenly heard a feminine rebuke. "Mao Feng, you really want to go there again?" Although the voice was female, it was very loud. In an instant, everyone on the street looked over. "Ziru." Mao Feng's expression changed drastically. The woman in front of him had a black scar on the right side of her face. It was extremely ugly. Seeing this woman, Wang Zhong was also shocked. He didn't expect her to be so ugly. No wonder Mao Feng was forced to do this. More importantly, Ziru's style was fierce. She drew her sword without saying anything. Swoosh! He pulled out his shining sword and said, "You've ignored my words time and time again. Since that's the case, there's nothing left for us to talk about." After saying this, Ziru directly slashed at Mao Feng. Although killing was strictly prohibited in the city, it depended on the person. A woman like Ziru who obviously knew martial arts was not someone that ordinary constables could deal with. For a moment no one dared to come over. "Brother Zhao, save me." Mao Feng was shocked. Wang Zhong shook his head helplessly. He was caught in the middle, and it was troublesome. However, no matter how troublesome it was, he didn't want to get involved in other people's family matters. Therefore he could only retreat. Unexpectedly, the ugly woman in front of him stabbed at him with her sword. "Lowly slave, if you want to protect your master, I'll kill you first." She treated Wang Zhong as Mao Feng's servant. After all, Mao Feng used to secretly bring servants here in the past. Wang Zhong's eyes turned cold. Although he didn't draw his sword, he raised his fist. Tiger form fist. Ziru's eyes narrowed. Since when did her trash fiancé have such a powerful master by his side? She didn't think too much and stabbed her sword. Of course, she didn't want to kill him. She only aimed at Wang Zhong's arm. However, when the long sword got close, Ziru felt a strong pressure. She realized that she couldn't attack with her sword. Whoosh! She hurriedly retracted her momentum and took a few steps back before stopping her footsteps. So powerful. Ziru was shocked. At this moment, she realized that this person wasn't a servant of the Mao family. She asked, "Who are you?" "I met young Master Mao on the road." Yes. Ziru, you misunderstood. I was just bringing young Master Zhao around. Please don't misunderstand. Mao Feng quickly said. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." This woman was quite straightforward. She then changed the topic. "But Mao Feng, you brought a guest to this kind of place?" "No, it's opposite." Mao Feng quickly pointed at his family's inn and smiled awkwardly. "I haven't eaten yet." "You misunderstood. Well, since you're here, let's eat together." "Okay, I was rude just now. Young Master Zhao, please." Ziru extended her hand and invited Wang Zhong in. Thinking that this woman was quite powerful, he thought that he might be able to get some information from her. He nodded. "Then I'm sorry." The three of them entered the inn. The business here was good. Because of Mao Feng, the three of them went to a private room on the second floor. "Brother Zhao, come, let's drink." Mao Feng's personality was quite good. He politely poured some wine for Wang Zhong. "Young Master Zhao, you're so powerful. I wonder who your master is." Ziru poured some tea for herself and asked. Chapter 165. My master is Gao Jinren from Bai Xuecheng. I also learned some ordinary martial arts. It's not worth mentioning, Wang Zhong replied casually. He then asked, "Miss Ziru, what about you?" "I was tested to have a level 2 spirit root when I was young. So my father made me practice martial arts. I'm already 18 years old now," Ziru said calmly, as if she was talking about someone else. "Sigh, Ziru." Mao Feng sighed sadly. He didn't know if he was faking it. Wang Zhong took a sip of wine and thought to himself. He had a way to solve this problem, but he wouldn't help for no reason. After all, he only met these people by chance. If the news that he could cure them spread, those masters might come after him. It wouldn't be worth it. He thought of many things in an instant. "Mr. Zhao, with your current strength, I'm afraid you've reached the external release of qi?" Ziru asked. External release of qi? Wang Zhong frowned. This was the first time he heard of it. Yes, martial arts practitioners are divided into different realms. I'm sorry, I've never heard of it before. Wang Zhong felt that Ziru seemed to know a lot of things. Ziru nodded. She didn't think too much about it. She only knew about it because she came from a big family. It was normal that ordinary people didn't know about it. After chatting for a while, Ziru looked at Mao Feng and said, "Mao Feng." "Yes, what's the matter?" Mao Feng was still quite afraid of his fiancée. "Let's get married this month. After we get married, I'll leave this place." "Ah, so soon?" Mao Feng was stunned. "I will be leaving soon. Thus before that, I will listen to my father's words and marry you. After I leave, you can do whatever you want with me." It seemed that Ziru had completely lost confidence in her fiancé. She was only marrying Mao Feng because she wanted to listen to her parents. Hearing Ziru's words, Mao Feng was obviously relieved. He nodded and said, Yes, then let's get married. But where are you going? Abroad. Abroad. Mao Feng was stunned. Why? I can only live for 2 years. I need to find a way to continue living. Oh, so it's like this. Mao Feng sighed. He was actually very happy in his heart. No one cared about him anymore. He could often go to his old lover's place. Wang Zhong, who had been quiet all this while, shot a glance at Ziru. His interest in her had been piqued. She was actually going abroad. He wondered how much she had learned about this world. However, since she said that she was going abroad, she must have some information about other countries. When they were almost done eating, the three of them stood up and left. Mao Feng said some polite words, and then went home alone. As for Ziru, because her home was in the opposite direction, she walked in the opposite direction. Wang Zhong was quite speechless towards these two people. They were obviously engaged, but they were like strangers. Was there a need for this kind of marriage? The answer was that it was necessary. Both of them actually understood that their marriage was just a marriage between two families. If they wanted their families to continue to become stronger, they had to form a stronger monopoly. Now that their two families were strong, there were too many benefits to be gained. Of course, to Wang Zhong, these were not worth paying attention to. He only wanted to know how much Ziru knew about other countries. Then he quietly followed Ziru. Ziru did not seem to notice that someone was following her. She walked on the street for a while and entered a small alley. It seemed that she wanted to go home through the small alley. Wang Zhong walked in. He did not expect to see Ziru looking at Wang Zhong with a cold smile. Young Master Zhao, I'm just an ugly girl. You didn't follow me here to molest me, right? Wang Zhong walked over. I was interested in some of the things you said before, so I chased after you to ask you some questions. What is it that you can't ask in front of my fiancé? To be honest, I'm the same as you. I also have a level 2 spiritual root, Wang Zhong said. What? Ziru was stunned. Then she nodded and said, no wonder you're so strong. It seems that you know something. I don't know. Wang Zhong smiled. You know that the lower the spiritual root, the stronger you are, right? I advise you not to say these words to others. If it reaches the ears of someone with ulterior motives, you will lose your life, Ziru said coldly. We're in the same boat. I trust you, Wang Zhong said. All right, but I have nothing to say to you. Goodbye. Miss Ziru, please wait. I can cure you. Wang Zhong called out to Ziru. Ziru stopped in her tracks. What did you say? I can cure the thing in your body. At least, you can live for another 20 years. Wang Zhong had done some calculations. He had sealed the evil thing in his body, but it was not permanent. The evil thing in his body was still growing. Therefore, he estimated that he could live for another 20 years at most. At that time, the evil thing in his body would explode and suck the host dry. Of course, it was possible that he could not even wait 20 years. Do you think that you can fool me with such a low-level trick? Ziru shook her head slightly. May I ask, what can I gain by lying to you? Why would I lie to you? Wang Zhong asked. Ziru fell silent. He was right. Why would Zhao Xiaodong lie to her? Was it fun? Of course not. For a moment, Ziru believed Wang Zhong's words. Can you really? Yes, I can try. However, I also need some information. Why do you want to go abroad? Wang Zhong asked. There are too many people here. Let's go to the inn and talk. Okay. Soon, the two of them returned to the place where they had their meal. Ziru asked for a pot of tea and explained. Since I was young, I have been a strange existence. Everyone knows that I have a short lifespan. Do you know how it feels? Of course I know. I have a short lifespan like you. Yes. Unfortunately, not only do I have a short lifespan, but I'm also ugly. Wang Zhong nodded. This woman was quite self-aware. However, I am different from others. I have loved reading since I was young. Other than reading all the books at home, I have also bought many books outside. I have traveled extensively with my father since I was young, and have been to many places. Every time I went to a place, I would look for books. The older the book, the more I like it. Wang Zhong did not say anything, because he knew that Ziru was talking about her. After that, I found a very old book. In the book, it talked about a place called Ming Country. In that place, the lower the spiritual root, the better the talent. This is the opposite of us. Hence, from then on, I started to practice martial arts. As expected, I easily cultivated inner chi. From that moment on, I started to doubt those so-called masters. Why would they lie to us? Wang Zhong said, they don't want us to become stronger. Yes. The key is that I found a huge secret in the book. Chapter 166. Oh, secret? What secret? Wang Zhong was really happy. This Ziru had a lot of secrets. The stronger you cultivate, the more powerful you are. You can even become an immortal. Become an immortal? That's right. That book is a travel biography. It's a pity that I don't know what era it was from. It was a long time ago. Since then, I've been secretly studying those masters. In other cities, I've also bought mini maps of places. Finally, I discovered that there are many countries around us. So when I was 15, I went to Li City. Wang Zhong had never heard of this city. So he asked, is Li City very far from here? It will probably take more than a month's journey. Li City is the city at the very edge of our Confluence dynasty. If we continue to walk, we will have to go to other cities. Unfortunately, there is an evil creature forest on the road ahead. Wanting to pass through the forest is very, very difficult. This forest should be man-made, right? Wang Zhong asked. You are very smart. Much smarter than my useless fiancé. Ziru seemed a little sad and continued. I thought so at first, but I was not convinced. I still wanted to pass through until I met my master in Li City. You have a master? Looks like Mao Feng doesn't know. Wang Zhong said. My master is on the other side of the evil creature forest. He is from the Immortal Mountain. Wang Zhong realized that after talking so much with Ziru, he understood a lot about this world. After that, Ziru continued to talk. Wang Zhong knew what was going on. The Immortal Mountain was a sect on the other side of the evil creature forest. They knew what was going on in Huichao, but because of the evil creature forest, they could not come. However, there were still some experts who secretly came. They looked for people with low spiritual roots and took them in as disciples. That was how Ziru was found by the people of the Immortal Mountain in Li City. It was also at that moment that Ziru understood everything. In order to become an immortal, the imperial preceptor of Huichao fooled everyone. He set up masters in every city and used them to implant evil creatures in the bodies of talented children. On one hand, this evil creature was used to prevent the child from growing up. On the other hand, it was to absorb the nutrients of the spirit root. Once the evil spirit broke out of the body, it would suck the essence of the host dry. At that time, it would return to the state preceptor's side. The state preceptor used this evil technique to cultivate. It had been hundreds of years. The imperial preceptor had absorbed an unknown amount of this essence and had long become incomparably powerful. As for his age, he was already hundreds of years old. It could be said that if this continued, the state preceptor might even live forever. Therefore, in order to prevent others from finding out about these secrets, once someone becomes strong or reveals these secrets, they will be targeted by those with ulterior motives. At that time, they will be killed. Ziru continued. I studied under my master in Li City for a few days. After that, because my father wanted to leave, I left as well. Why didn't you follow them to the Immortal Mountain? Wang Zhong asked, puzzled. I can't leave without saying goodbye before repaying my father's kindness, Ziru said. She was indeed a filial woman. Wang Zhong nodded. At this point, he basically understood the situation of this world. To put it simply, the state preceptor was the source of evil. In order to satisfy his cultivation needs and obtain eternal life, he sent countless masters to oversee every city. On the one hand, he wanted these masters to implant the evil spirit in every child. On the other hand, he knew that these secrets could not be revealed to others. Therefore, once there were rumors about the correct treatment of spirit roots, those masters would take action and eliminate those people. Therefore, the people in every city and every village were actually people being cultivated by the state preceptor. At that time, my master told me that although my spirit root is of the second grade, After a long period of cultivation, I can continue to live. However, the possibility of this is very low. Ziru sighed. But no matter what, I have to take a gamble. Therefore, I will go to the Immortal Mountain when the time comes. A few days ago, my senior and junior brothers in Lee City sent me a letter. They are all waiting for me in Lee City. Once I go, they will bring me to the Immortal Mountain. I will go with you, Wang Zhong said. Okay. Then can you really deal with the evil spirit in my body? To be honest, I don't need you to let me live for another 20 years. I only need 5 years, and I might be able to deal with the evil spirit in my body. This is what my master promised me. He will not be wrong. Don't worry. When we reach the Immortal Mountain, I will help you. Of course, Wang Zhong would not immediately solve the problem in Ziru's body. After all, if Ziru did not bring him to Lee City, it would be troublesome. Ziru was a smart person. She knew what Wang Zhong was thinking. Then she stood up. Let's go. I will bring you to my house. Is it appropriate? There is nothing inappropriate. Ziru looked at Wang Zhong. Don't you want to read the book? Okay, let's go. But when we reach my house, you have to sneak in. Wang Zhong's expression was strange. Why did he feel like he was having an affair? After coming out, Wang Zhong first went to an inn at the side and found Aunt Ju. He told her that he was going to Ziru's house, and asked her to stay here. When they arrived at the Z family, Ziru brought Wang Zhong to the wall at the back door of the Z family. She said, "Let's climb over the wall." This was my courtyard in the past. No one will come in. Okay. The two of them climbed over the wall and landed in a garden. This garden was very well taken care of. The grass and flowers on the ground were green and full of vitality. A few steps forward, there was a small stone path. The environment here was quiet, and the air was fresh. It was a good paradise. This place is not bad. Wang Zhong touched a small yellow flower on the side. Did you plant them yourself? It is rare to find someone who likes the flowers I plant. My parents think that I am not doing my job properly. Especially Mao Feng. He doesn't like these. Ziru looked at Wang Zhong in surprise. But why are you the only one here? Wang Zhong asked curiously. Because I need to practice martial arts. I don't like to be disturbed. So I am the only one in this courtyard. No wonder she could bring him in. So that's why. Wang Zhong understood. Soon, they arrived in front of a small house. There were several small houses here. When they pushed the door open and entered, the fragrance of flowers assailed their nostrils. This was a good place. Wang Zhong was very surprised. On the table in the main hall, there were the 4 treasures of the study and a guzheng. It could be seen that Ziru was usually quite leisurely and elegant. Entering a room on the side, there were rows of black-painted bookshelves with many books placed on them. This is what you've collected over the years? Wang Zhong asked. Yes. I will go and get that travel book for you. The author of the travel book is a person called Gao Dongtian. In the book, this person traveled outside for many years. As he traveled, he wrote this travel book. At the end of the book, this Gao Dongtian returned here and cultivated the way of immortality. Chapter 167. After hearing Ziru's words, Wang Zhong could not help but think of the head of the Gao village. The head of the Gao village was also surnamed Gao. According to Madame Zhu, he had attained the Tao through cultivation and went to another world. After he left, his clansmen lost their protection, which led to the fatal disaster. Could it be that those masters already knew about the head of the Gao village, but they were afraid of his strength, so they did not dare to do anything to the Gao family? Wang Zhong guessed. Wang Zhong had no doubts about the Gao family's strength in the past. After all, the pig demon had accidentally eaten a pill from the Gao family, and it could directly enter the Tao of Yao. Obviously, that pill was not an ordinary one. Therefore, he guessed that the head of the Gao family had entered an extremely high level. That was why even the state preceptor, who had the power of a country, did not dare to do anything to him. Wang Zhong thought to himself, and began to flip through the book. As for Ziru, she sat at the side and accompanied Wang Zhong to read the book. The travelogue was written in the first person. It described the process of Gao Dongtian's travels. However, perhaps because it had been too long, the names of many cities and villages had changed. However, the situation of each place left a deep impression in Wang Zhong's mind. Among them, it talked about how people with low spiritual roots were very talented. As for people with short lifespans, there was no such thing. At the end of the travel book, Gao Dongtian said that he felt that his cultivation had reached a bottleneck, so he needed to go home and cultivate in peace to achieve the supreme Tao. At this point, the book came to an end. Gao Dongtian went home in the end. Could it be the Gao village? Wang Zhong decided that the next time he saw Madame Zhu, he would ask her the name of the previous head of the Gao village. When he looked up, it was already evening outside. At this time, Ziru came in with some food. Finished reading? Yes, I'm done. How was it? This state preceptor created a huge scam. I'm afraid he did it for the sake of attaining the immortal realm as described in this book. That's right. This Gao Dongtian probably reached the last step of becoming an immortal. I wonder what happened to him in the end. Ziru shook her head and placed the dishes on the table. It's already night time. Let's eat. I'll make you a bed on the floor later. You can stay here. Wang Zhong didn't argue and nodded his head slightly. After that, Wang Zhong settled down here. Originally, Wang Zhong had thought that he would only wait for Ziru and Mao Feng to get married before they set off for the evil creature forest. The next morning, when Wang Zhong was having breakfast with Ziru, the door was suddenly pushed open. Daughter, you are about to get married. How about you try this new dress? A woman walked in and was stunned when she saw Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong didn't know what to say. Mother, why are you here? Ziru was also shocked. The woman pointed at Wang Zhong. You actually took my daughter. Sa, you've sinned. Wang Zhong was really stunned. Don't misunderstand. Unfortunately, the woman didn't believe him at all. She shouted angrily. What do you mean don't misunderstand? You're already like this. My poor daughter is about to get married. Ziru, explain yourself. Wang Zhong looked at Ziru. Unexpectedly, Ziru lowered her head. He didn't know what she was thinking. Forget it. I'll go find your father. I can't help you with this. The woman walked out crying. Ziru, you did this on purpose? Wang Zhong was not stupid. He knew that Ziru had asked him to come over, and then deliberately ate with him. In addition, Ziru deliberately didn't say anything. Wasn't this equivalent to admitting it? Plop. Ziru was also straightforward. She immediately knelt down. I'm sorry, young Master Zhao. I couldn't bear to reject the marriage arranged for me by my parents. I had already accepted my fate. However, after you moved in last night, I suddenly thought that if my parents saw you move in, maybe they would change their mind. But aren't you making things difficult for me? Wang Zhong frowned. He knew what Ziru was thinking. He didn't want to get involved in this family's matters. I can promise you that when we reach the Immortal Mountain, I'll let you become a disciple of the Immortal Mountain. As she spoke, Ziru took out a token. I'm already a disciple of the Immortal Mountain. If you don't have my recommendation, even if you find the Immortal Mountain, it'll be useless. However, I can at least let you in. It had to be said that Wang Zhong was tempted. He tried his best to find opportunities. Didn't he want to walk on the path of cultivation and solve the problem of the evil spirit in his body? Now that the opportunity was right in front of him, Ziru was a very good person to recommend him. Okay. Wang Zhong made a prompt decision. However, I won't make things difficult for you. I know that I'm ugly, but I know my limits. When the time comes, you don't have to say anything. I'll do it, Ziru said calmly. Soon, a woman and a pot-bellied middle-aged man walked in. These two were Ziru's parents, Lu Yin and Zinanshan. What's going on? How did you two meet? Zinanshan sat at the head of the table. Wang Zhong and Ziru stood in the hall. Lu Yin paced back and forth anxiously. Hey, your good days are coming. Little Ru, you're so silly. How could you steal a man? Mother, what are you talking about? I'm not married yet. How could I steal? You haven't stolen. Who is this man? Zinanshan was furious. He pointed at Wang Zhong's nose and scolded him. Wang Zhong's expression was calm. He was here to act. There was no need for him to speak. Therefore, he ignored Zi Nanshan's finger. Zhao Xiaodong and I are in love with each other. Besides, it's not like you don't know that Mao Feng. He's been fooling around outside. If it weren't for you two elders, why would I be with him? So I'm forcing you? Zi Nanshan snorted. I don't dare to say that I'm your daughter. Originally, I wanted to sneak around with Zhao Xiaodong. Since Mao Feng is fooling around, I can do it too. But now that you've found out, I accept my fate. Ziru suddenly held Wang Zhong's hand. He sleeps at my place every day. We've been together for a long time. Doomed. Lu Yan slapped her thigh anxiously. As for Zi Nanshan, he was trembling with anger. Wang Zhong was surprised by Lu Yan's bold action. This incomparably ugly woman was not ordinary at all. Father, mother, I've thought about it. Xiaodong and I can sneak around, and then marry Mao Feng. It doesn't matter anyway. Nonsense. If people find out, where will we put our faces? Zi Nanshan scolded angrily. Misfortune for the family. And you? Suddenly, Zi Nanshan pointed at Wang Zhong. My daughter is so ugly. How could you do that? Tell me, do you have other motives? Chapter 168. Zi Nanshan was an overbearing person. After speaking, he stood up with his hands behind his back. He looked at Wang Zhong and said, Kid, if you don't say something, I'll skin you alive. Ha ha ha, Wang Zhong laughed. He had wanted to stay out of this, but now he had to say something. However, he would not tell the truth. After all, he still had to follow Ziru to the Immortal Mountain. After thinking for a while, Wang Zhong said, It's one thing for others to say that your daughter is ugly, but as Xiao Ru's father, how can you say that? Let's not talk about other things first. How are you a father? You. Don't point at me. Wang Zhong snorted. Don't you know how hard Xiao Ru works? She's good at literature, martial arts and business. You can say that she's not worse than any man. But you want her to marry Mao Feng, who only knows how to eat, drink, and play all day. If Mao Feng isn't rich and powerful, why should he marry Xiao Ru? Don't you know that Xiao Ru is a treasure? You don't even know that you're guarding the treasure, but you want to push her into the fire pit. After speaking, Wang Zhong hugged Ziru domineeringly. Ziru is my woman now. If you don't agree, I'll go find Mao Feng immediately. After all, Mao Feng and I are brothers. His words left Zi Nanshan, and Lu Yan speechless and dumbstruck. As for Ziru, she looked at Wang Zhong in astonishment. Ziru could not help but feel touched from the bottom of her heart. You know Mao Feng too? Zi Nanshan asked coldly. That's right. Haha, you're actually looking for your brother's wife. You'll be drowned in a pig cage if you continue like this. Zi Nanshan shouted. To tell you the truth, Mao Feng told me personally that he doesn't like Ziru. Marrying him is just a marriage between your two families. Wang Zhong said. So what? Zi Nanshan snorted. He was fully convinced that this was normal. If Mao Feng was normal, then so be it. But he only knows how to eat, drink, and play. After a few decades, with his character, do you think he'll be able to protect his current business? You don't have to worry about your daughter marrying him, right? You might as well let Ziru stay at home, Wang Zhong said. No matter how useless he is still stronger than you. What can you do? Zi Nanshan said coldly. I am a cultivator. After saying that, Wang Zhong punched the big tree outside the door. Roar! A tiger head crashed into the tree, and in an instant, the tree was broken in half. Seeing Lu Yan and Zi Nanshan's expressions, Wang Zhong breathed a sigh of relief. Sometimes he had to show off his skills to suppress others. At this moment, even Ziru was shocked. She thought that she already knew Zhao Xiaodong's true strength from the previous battle, but looking at it now, he realized that he had not drawn out Wang Zhong's true strength. However, Ziru quickly reacted and said, Father, mother, did you see that? Between Zhao Xiaodong and Mao Feng, who do you think is stronger? Zhao Xiaodong, why haven't I heard of your strength before? My family is in Snow City. My family owns an inn, Wang Zhong said. Yes, an inn. Hearing that Zhao Xiaodong's family was not poor, Nanshan nodded slightly. At this moment, Nanshan and his wife's hearts were moved. Firstly, Zhao Xiaodong and Ziru had already slept together, and looking at how much they loved each other, it was obvious that it would be difficult to break them up. Secondly, as Wang Zhong said, he was strong. In this world, although money was very important, in the end, it would be better to have strength. For example, if a caravan went out, he would not have to rely on those qi experts if he had the strength. Moreover, his deterrence would be strong. Thirdly, Zhao Xiaodong's family was not bad. Although it was much worse than the Mao family, if his daughter liked it, it would be fine. But, Nanshan sighed and said, "How do we tell the Mao family?" "That's simple. I'll tell Mao Feng. I think that kid will go crazy when he knows about this," Wang Zhong said. This, Nanshan was still hesitant. Wang Zhong stood with his hands behind his back and said with the look of an expert, "This time, I came back with Mao Feng's caravan. Speaking of which, I even saved him." "Really?" Lu Yan was surprised. "Why would I lie to you? The leader was Uncle Sunday. He saw it all." Wang Zhong said lightly. Okay. Nanshan sighed. "If that's the case, then I'll help you. Good son-in-law. You have to treat my daughter well in the future." Suddenly, he started to become a good son-in-law. Although she knew that this was fake, Ziru still blushed. Now she was too embarrassed to look at Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong also touched his nose awkwardly. What was this? He was muddle-headed and became someone else's son-in-law. But there was no other way. In order to go to the Immortal Mountain, he could only do this. After all, it was just an act. After chatting for a while, Nanshan and his wife left. After they left, Ziru heaved a sigh of relief. She looked at Wang Zhong embarrassedly and said, "Thank you, Zhao Xiaodong. It's nothing. We're just taking what we need." Yes. For some reason, Ziru had a strange feeling in her heart. She sneaked a glance at Wang Zhong and lowered her head embarrassedly. "Zhao Xiaodong, how did you train to be so strong? I always thought that I was very strong. To think that you're even stronger." Ziru said, "It's because of my diligence." Diligence? At this moment, Ziru was starting to worship Wang Zhong. "It's nothing. I'll go look for Mao Feng with you later." "Yes. But what do you think Mao Feng will think then?" Even though Ziru looked indifferent in front of her parents, she was still worried about what Mao Feng would think. "No matter what he thinks, I'll think of a way to persuade him." What Wang Zhong didn't say next was that if he couldn't persuade Mao Feng, he would ask Aunt Zhu to take action and deal with Mao Feng directly in order to avoid other troubles. Once Mao Feng died, everything would be solved. After that, Ziru went to the Mao family. As for Wang Zhong, he waited outside. At first, Wang Zhong was still thinking about what Mao Feng would say when he came over. He did not expect Ziru to walk out excitedly so quickly. "Young Master Zhao, I didn't expect Mao Feng to agree so quickly," Ziru said. "Oh, yes. After I told Mao Feng about it, he agreed quickly. Then we met his parents. Because we said at the same time that the engagement was cancelled, they agreed too. Things went unexpectedly smoothly. However, thinking of Mao Feng's character, Wang Zhong was relieved. In the end, that guy was just a prodigal who liked to eat, drink, and play." After more than a week, the Mao family and the Z family jointly announced to the public that the arranged marriage was cancelled. Because it was announced at the same time, both families kept their faces. "Son-in-law, now that Ziru's arranged marriage has been cancelled, I think your marriage should be put on the agenda." Early in the morning, Nanshan found Wang Zhong, who was practicing martial arts. Nanshan was obviously testing him. He chose the time when Ziru was out. "Uncle Z, I've told Xiaoru about this." Wang Zhong sighed. He had indeed told Ziru. But what they talked about was how to deal with Ziru's parents. "Oh, you've talked about it?" Nanshan smiled. "You're smart. Tell me, what did you say?" "Ziru has a short lifespan." Nanshan's face darkened. "Yes, continue. We have a way to solve the problem of her short lifespan. I'm going to accompany her. When the problem is solved, we'll get married," Wang Zhong said solemnly. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.